I really don't give a shit about Tessa Blanchard. I think she's a fuckboy. I really don't give a shit about her, so that's my answer. So I don't really give a fuck what she does, to be honest.
Everything that she said. I could give two flying fucks about Tessa Blanchard. Like, dub. Like, if she shows up to any of these companies, it's literally only for a reaction because nobody can give two fucks about her. And then she's probably going to have a ring requirement when she gets there. So she's going to be like, oh, so Jade Cargill can't be there. Riho can't be there. Like, I just need Ty Conti in there. Yeah, Ruby, you might be able to stay there. But the rest of y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go.
Fuck that bitch. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not supposed to. You said I wasn't supposed to swear, and I really apologize.
I literally have been the only person on the show that has to swear.
I mean, you can't. How could she say it without saying it? Like I say, let it happen.
Yeah, that was Tru Heel Heat's takeover of Wrestling Daily last night. So we have a bunch of new subscribers joining us for the first time for our weekly Saturday podcast. We're going to be talking about AEW All Out. We're going to be talking about the shocking debuts. Who may be next to jump from WWE to AEW? We got a special guest. We're going to rank where All Out ranks in the all-time greatest pay-per-views ever. So, producer, hit the intro. Let's get to it. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 142 WWE Problem AEW Solution. On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be discussing the latest wrestling news, including the huge debuts from AEW All Out 2021 and where it ranks among the greatest pay-per-views of all time, the WWE contract status of Kevin Owens, and whether we believe he plans on leaving, Kenny Omega being named the #1 wrestler in the PWI 500, recap of All Out, AEW Rampage, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, WWE NXT, Raw, Impact on Access TV, and much more. And of course, we're going to preview ROH Death By Dishonor and a little bit more than that. Of course, I am always joined by the resident Tru Heel alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ.
What's going on? What a week. And yes, tomorrow football season starts. Tighten up.
Of course, always excited for his Tennessee Titans, and Miss Krssi Love will be making her triumphant return on this edition of Tru Heel Heat. She will be joining us shortly, but we have another special guest in our hot streak of great special guests that we've been on Tru Heel Heat. A couple of weeks back, we had our fantasy wrestling draft with the Distractions podcast own Jeremy Lambert and Joseph Holberg. We had Alex McCarthy for our 4-year anniversary. We had Andrew Thompson after that. Last week we had Steph Chase and Benno from Post Wrestling. This week we got maybe the biggest guest we can get possible to stack up to those line of guests. We have a person who is a provider, a contributor for Steelers coverage for Sports Illustrated, NFL contributor for Fansided. He is the co-host of Bailey and the Bird Wrestling podcast. He is a member of the elite, Jarrett Bailey.
I am a member of the Elite. Yeah, I told you before I came on here I was gonna, deck out the leather jacket, the dangly, all the accessories, just to really, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, to really get into the role of being a member of the Elite. But no, I'm excited. Always fun to talk wrestling. People who follow me on Twitter get kind of irritated with how much I talk wrestling because they just want me to talk about football, and I tell them to F off. But no, this is I'm looking forward to this. Been watching you guys for a while, so I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you on this edition of Tru Heel Heat. And I do my best to come up with intros for all of our guests, but I always, first time you're on Tru Heel Heat, I always want you to have the forum to tell the people watching who might not know you what you do, why you're in the wrestling sphere, what made you a wrestling fan, and what you do outside of that. So, Jarrett, please let the people know where, what you're doing weekly as far as football and wrestling. Let them know.
Yeah, so you can find all of my work really on Sports Illustrated and Fansided, whether it's just Steelers stuff or NFL coverage as a whole. And then in terms of wrestling, me and my co-host Ben Raven, who has got a ton of wrestling stories to tell because he used to actually train under Scott D'Amore. I'll let him tell his own stories. But regardless, we started talking a lot about wrestling over the summer. And, I wanted something to do just because, we did our football stuff, all our off-season coverage and whatnot. But it just felt like a good time to get back into wrestling as like a true diehard fan. Right now is the best time to do that if you are considering it. And so I talked him into doing something with me for the 5 weeks a year that he has off. Our first show, we did a fantasy draft with Jeremy Lambert and Louis Dangor. It was a lot of fun. And then it's kind of been put on hold because football came back really quick. So, we're trying to do as much as we can with that, but, the NFL does take priority. It's just been nice to get back into wrestling over the past, really since AEW began. So, 2019, the last 2 years or so. It just feels good to be a diehard wrestling guy again. There was a very large gap between, 12-year-old Jarrett and now 22-year-old Jarrett being just like really into it. So no, it feels really good to just really enjoy it again.
We are glad to hear that. We love enjoying professional wrestling here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel and podcast. And I knew that Top Guy JJ wasn't going to go long without getting upset with you because he is a football fan. So go ahead, JJ.
I'm curious, right? I'm just curious to know we made some big moves this offseason. So since you cover football, I'm just curious to know where do you have my Titans going this year?
Do I get to do like a full Titans breakdown in the first 10 minutes of this show? Is that what's about to happen?
Why not? We always go off the rails here on Tru Heel Heat, so you might as well.
All right. JJ, I will say this. Their offense is going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how A.J. Brown and Julio Jones coexist. The offensive line is still very good. They added Reduns from North Dakota State. Derrick Henry's still a phenom. Ryan Tannehill's really good. Defensively is where I'm worried, because they have a stretch from, I think it's week 6 to like week 10 where it's just brutality, because they play Buffalo, they play the Rams, they play the Chargers, they play the Seahawks. It's not like those are all guaranteed wins. Their defense did kind of a 180, JJ, because last year they had an abysmal pass rush and the secondary was good. Throughout the offseason, they lose their top 3 cornerbacks. The front 7 will be good. They still Bud Dupree from my Steelers. Sucks, but he's going to be great. So I love that. Their front 7 is going to be really good. I love Harold Landry. I love everything that they did in that part of the field. But they're relying on 2 rookies and a second-year player as their top 3 cornerbacks and effing Jackrabbit. Now, nothing against Jackrabbit, but it's not as if he's, an elite corner. So that's the only part that worries me. They play the Cardinals week 1. Bet the over on that, by the way. That's going to be an 80-79 game. I think that they're going to be a fun offensive team. But defensively is where I'm worried. If Caleb Farley plays well, then they got to steal, and I like their chances better. And the fact that the Colts keep dropping like flies, their chances are looking really good. I think I have them at like 8-9, 9-8, just because the defense worries me. The secondary worries me at least. So that's what I have them going. They don't have an easy schedule, mate.
8-9 in the AFC South. So basically, we're gonna win 2 games outside of our division all year.
No, I think they'll split them with the Colts. They'll beat Houston both times. Jacksonville's always given them problems.
We haven't lost to Jacksonville in like 3 years.
Oh, I didn't say that you lost to them. They give them issues. Last year, they almost came back with Gardner Minshew in week 2 and beat them. So I'm just saying.
We're going 3-8 against the rest of the NFL.
I would say between 4. Like I said, they could very easily, if the defense figures it out quickly, they can win 10, 11 games. If not, it's going to be a struggle to contend because the Colts have quietly one of the best defenses in football, and I like their offense.
You know what? Being a little bit fair, if you would have said 11-6 or 10-7, but 8-9, like not even 500 with the acquisitions that we made, and not even just on offense, on defense. Obviously, getting Bud Dupree, hoping that we got the steal in Caleb Farley. Jayon Brown is still there. We still got Rashad Evans. Like, we still have a bunch of bad boys on defense. We might have a weak spot in the secondary. I know Janoris Jenkins ain't saving nobody's day. I get that. But we're going to lose 9 games because we have 2 holes in our secondary.
There's more than 2. It could all implode. It could. And now, again, would not be surprised if they do get it all figured out because I love Caleb Farley. He's my favorite cornerback in the draft outside of J.C. Horn. Love him. It's just a matter of, okay, how quick are they? There's going to be growing pains regardless. It's, okay, how quickly can they get over them before that horrible midseason stretch? I don't know who they pissed off in the NFL to play those games for a month straight, but it's not going to be easy.
We're gonna have a lot of shootouts. I agree to that. But I have
a lot of 45-40 games.
We're gonna win a lot of those shootouts because we have Derrick Henry. We have somebody that can control the clock with the ground game.
I love
just
Derrick
because
Henry.
We're gonna be dynamic on offense. We still have a clock killer on our team.
I love Derrick Henry. I do.
So this translates into. So we're gonna have a worse record.
Okay, time's up on the NFL talk. Yeah. He was gonna drag that out if I didn't stop him. So yes, you got the football portion of this podcast. We're almost 11 minutes in, and I haven't said drop a like on this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all new content, daily content right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. A bunch of new subscribers from our appearance on Wrestling Daily last night with Alex McCarthy. We want to thank Alex McCarthy for having the entire gang on and for dealing with us breaking that swear jar. Well, not me, but Miss Krssi Love, as you saw with the open to the show, and Top Guy JJ within his first second dropping an F-bomb. So yes, we appreciate all the mods over there for having patience with the Tru Heel Heat gang, bringing the flames to Wrestling Daily. And this edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our friends over at Warrior Wrestling. They got their Sweet 16 event coming up in October. Huge matches already named for that event. They got Josh Alexander versus Calvin Tankman. They got Davey Richards versus Ace Austin. So there's a bunch of great matches for them. And also our friends over at Powered 4 TV. You can get your first month 50% off by using the promo code SP3. And of course, we want to hear from you guys in the live chat. We got Jason Michael Campbell, Frantic World, already joining us live with their comments, their thoughts on the latest wrestling news. We got John Elite saying, "Sup, boys," between Adam Cole and Bryan. Who was a bigger loss for WWE? We will answer that on this edition of Tru Heel Heat. But of course, since we're saying to subscribe, we're telling you to like the video. We always want to shout out the people that are supporting us on our YouTube channel, on social media. So we start things off with the Tru Heel roll call. The top 3 conversation starters on our Tru Heel's Facebook group page. Coming in at number 3, we have Jessica V. Coming in at number 2, we have Austin Hartsfield Brown. And coming in at number 1 is the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. Of course, the streak continues, Top Guy JJ.
He's Goldberg. I can tell you, he's going to hit 173-0, and then we should just officially retire it. Like we should, like
we already tried that. We tried that.
Then we should just retire it and then put the name in the rafters for Tru Heel Heat and just call it a day.
No, we want to keep it going. We want to break the Goldberg streak. Tru Heel said we got to shout out Miguel Maldonado Jr., Cody Thornton, Pat in the Hat, who had a great tweet about us being on Wrestling Daily, and Jose Antonio Roman, our YouTube subscriber highlight. We have Chris Haney, who said on our AEW All Out 2021 Roundtable review, he said, truly one of the best pay-per-views ever. Also, Rambo. And if you know Rambo from our other, live chats and our comments, he always is.
WWE.
He's always he's not super WWE. He's just very negative on everything AEW. But even he had to say, my views on modern wrestling is that AEW has more of a chance of saving it than WWE right now. Tony Khan said recently that he learned the most from Jim Cornette growing up, despised their war on socials at time. He obviously has respect, so I take back some stuff I said about Tony, only in wrestling, mind you, as Fulham are a shit show, but he seems like he is possibly able to wanna learn. So he said that on our All Out Roundtable review. I had to abbreviate it because if you know Rambo, he likes to ramble, so I had to abbreviate and only take one paragraph of his 4 paragraphs comment. But Rambo, we appreciate some positivity, and that segues nicely into our top news story, which is all about AEW literally going all out with the debuts of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho. And one of the most exciting and awesome pay-per-view endings of all time. Adam Cole, baby, made his AEW debut following the all-out main event of Kenny Omega defeating Christian Cage to retain the AEW World Championship. Cole immediately super kicked Jungle Boy and turned heel and reunited with the Elite. Omega looks to end the show with his catchphrase, but he was interrupted by Bryan Danielson, who aligned with Christian Cage and Jurassic Express to fight off the Elite to stand tall to end the show. After the pay-per-view, Danielson cut a promo saying that he came to AEW for the amazing roster and the incredible fans, and because he is a pro wrestler. In the post-all-out media scrum, Danielson said that he loved WWE and enjoyed working there. He also said that he had a great relationship with Vince McMahon, but felt like he was too overprotective and came to AEW because it's exciting. In regards to the decision between AEW and WWE, Bryan said, and I quote, honestly, it was an internal battle the whole time because I loved where I worked before. I loved the people I worked with. There was never a moment that I was like, oh, now I know. A new report has some details on Bryan Danielson's AEW contract, with it apparently being a multi-year deal. On Thursday's edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, it was noted that Danielson's deal with the company is for 3 years. Bryan Danielson noted that in his discussion with WWE about a new contract, they were going to let him do some other stuff on the outside, but didn't specify. In Wednesday's Wrestling Observer Radio, it was confirmed that WWE was going to allow Danielson to work dates in New Japan Pro Wrestling as part of a new deal. Money-wise, both WWE and AEW offers were similar, and both allowed him to work in New Japan. At the time, Danielson had been trying to get others to be able to work with New Japan if they wanted in the WWE, but of course that Nick Khan deal failed, one of the rare ones that did fail. Bryan had noted that the decision to leave WWE was a tough one, but he felt that he wanted to push himself and try new things. It was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE did not want to lose Bryan and were willing to make concessions to keep him around. It was also suggested that WWE, in making the deal with New Japan as part of the rumored negotiations with them, wanted to be the exclusive provider of talent to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Adam Cole was a completely different situation in many ways, with WWE and Cole himself being surprised that his deal expired in July. As previously mentioned on Tru Heel Heat, Cole extended with WWE to complete his feud with Kyle O'Reilly that culminated at TakeOver 36. Fightful Select has more details on Cole signing with WWE, including the reaction from WWE. According to Fightful, Cole's appearance didn't necessarily come as a big surprise to many in WWE, since most expected him to head to AEW as early as last weekend. As reported, WWE was under the assumption he was leaving when it sent an internal memo to some within the company. Fightful notes that those it spoke to in WWE had nothing but positive things to say about Cole's exit, especially the manner in which he handled his surprise contract expiration and subsequent extension. Additionally, perhaps unsurprisingly, no one in WWE was told outright by Cole that he'd be debuting at All Out, and the report states that he was hidden the night of the show. Cole's deal with AEW reportedly wasn't official until Sunday evening, but those who needed to know to AEW were informed ahead of time to have merchandise and other aspects ready for his debut. The report also noted that the final segment of the show was discussed with those involved late in the evening after the CM Punk versus Darby Allin match, which was third from the end of the card. In an interesting side story coming out of this week, according to Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE had plans for Adam Cole on the main roster and were planning to call up before his exit. The alleged plan was for WWE to turn Keith Lee heel and then bring Adam Cole in to be his manager. Basically the Leo Rush to his Bobby Lashley. Likely a different name for Cole due to Michael Cole being on the main roster. It was noted that the idea would be similar to Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley, with Cole being a little guy who's a big talker who hides behind the big guy. It was reportedly either Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard's idea. It's unknown how much the creative plan was actually known to Cole prior to his decision to make the jump. In regards to Ruby Soho, who debuted as the Joker card in the Casino Battle Royale, winning that match, Fightful Select had more details on her signing with AEW. Fightful reports that sources state that there was immediate interest in Soho from AEW, with other companies and independent promotions also interested in her. Some companies were told early that she wasn't available for bookings as far as back as July, and most assumed she was headed to AEW. It was also noted that numerous WWE stars were over the moon for Soho's debut, as she called it one of the best moments of her entire career and life. Following her WWE release, there was reportedly unanimous positive reactions to Ruby Soho personally, with many in AEW pushing for her to join the company. So I'm going to ask our guest first. Jarrett, what are your thoughts on both debuts at the end of All Out? Was this the right time to pull the trigger on both? And of course, because your face was so vehemently and hand in palm, your thoughts on the plans for Adam Cole in WWE?
I think it was the perfect time to debut both of them, especially in the manner that they did it, because once the lights went out, I think everybody assumed it was going to be Bryan Danielson that came out. And then when Adam Cole's music hit, everybody lost their minds, me included. Yeah. Watching at home, I was like, oh my God, Adam Cole's here. And then coming to the ring, I love the subtle little hints that AEW used to kind of tell you that he was going to turn. He came out of the heel tunnel, was wearing similar shoes to the Bucks and Omega and whatnot. And, yes, he's doing the thing. Hey, I remember what you did to me. And as soon as Jungle Boy stands up, we get a super kick and the reuniting with the Elite. So I thought that was really well done. But everybody still knew that Bryan was going to come. And when he did, it was just amazing. And everything that Bryan and Kenny have done since then. I mean, the program that they did on Dynamite briefly with Bryan locking him in, the bell lock, and then having all of the Elite have to get him off of him. I think that really just put Bryan over even more, if that's even possible. So, but the one I don't, it's not anybody's fault that Ruby Soho is being overshadowed, because obviously Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson came. But I think that in the end, she could be the most impactful debut, just because the women's division in AEW needed that kick in the ass in terms of that main event talent. Because you look at who they have that's really just considered main event women's talent, maybe 4 of them. You got Britt Baker, sure, Sheeta, Chris Statlander now maybe, and now Ruby.
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa as well.
Show love to
Thunder. Yeah, Thunder Rosa as well. So maybe 4 or 5 of them. And I think that the entire culmination of Britt Baker's title run will end with her dropping it to Thunder Rosa. But they need more people. It's nice that they're building up Tay Conti. It's nice that they're building up Anna Jay. Riho's starting to come back a lot more. So that's good. But having Ruby there, I think that was phenomenal. She looked really happy. The fans were really happy to see her. And she's done really well since debuting in her short time. So I really liked all of it. Just the pay-per-view as a whole, everything hit. The tag team match in the steel cage was maybe the best tag team match I've ever seen. Punk showed that he can still go, and it was just a giant homage to Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid, which I loved.
Yes.
So I thought that was awesome. And yeah, man, everything just went really well. And I just think it's really cool that we had Christian main eventing a pay-per-view in 2021 and Edge main eventing a pay-per-view in 2021 when we didn't think we'd see either of them wrestle again. So it was just an all-around damn good night for wrestling. I'm glad that Paul White squashed QT Marshall because I never want to see him on my screen again. I'm sorry, QT, you just don't entertain me, dude. So no, it was just a damn good night of pro wrestling. One of the best pay-per-views of all time if we're ranking them. But yeah, I was very entertained. I'm glad that they did the debuts the way that they did. A big night for AEW.
So, Top Guy JJ, I'm gonna go to you and ask because I saw your head in your palm. What's your thoughts on this Adam Cole reported WWE plans to be the manager of Keith Lee?
I'm gonna go out of the limb and not believe it. I'm just gonna not believe it. I'm just gonna not believe that this was an actual thing, that somebody is just throwing salt on the wound of WWE and saying, hey, you know what? This is this dumb reason. And I'm just not going to believe it because I don't think they can get dumber than this. It's like, no, don't put nothing past WWE. Don't put nothing past them. But you're going to sit there and have a dude have your black and gold brand as their champion for over 400 days and then have him come to the main roster as somebody's lackey. Like it does fit WWE. It fits WWE.
That's the one thing that sticks out to me though, because when I heard it, I was like, that would not surprise me in the least. Just Vince looking at, because I mean, it was somewhat reported a while ago that, Vince doesn't really pay too much attention to NXT. That's more of, Shawn and Triple H's, whole thing and William Regal. It would not surprise me whatsoever, especially with how we've seen guys like Ricochet treated on the main roster. If Vince just looked at him and he's like, oh, he's so tiny, and just put him with Keith Lee. Oh, my God. Like, how did that meeting go? How was anything positive taken from that? We're like, hey, you know how we treated Leo Rush? Let's do that. Like, why would Adam Cole want to do that in the first? I just don't get it.
Vince McMahon probably had a meeting with Adam Cole and shook his hand. It's like, oh my God, you're smaller than Finn Balor.
So that means
this is not gonna work. I will not trust you on any brand of mines held in any championship. You are gonna dive off the top rope and take bumps as Keith Lee's little bodyguard, because you're gonna be, you know what? They're doing something pretty good on AEW. They got this guy Luchasaurus, and they got this little guy Marco Stunt. Then we're gonna make you my Luchasaurus, and then you're gonna be Marco Stunt. You're gonna be Marco Stunt, baby.
I feel like he handed him like old ECW videos, and he was like, "You ever heard of Spike Dudley? Yeah, go check that out. You might. I think we might have something there."
We got a question here from Annika Wilson, who doesn't seem like she's believing the reports. She said, even with HBK and Triple H backing Adam Cole, 100% yes. Do you really honestly think, after 20 years of evidence, that Triple H being high on somebody is any type of moving of the emotions of how Vince McMahon views professional wrestlers? He views professional wrestlers in a certain way. He viewed Leo Rush, who is one of the most talented in-ring performers that I've seen live, and he viewed him as a manager, and he was very high on him, and he gave him a lot of TV time. And I could see them doing the same with Adam Cole. You want to talk about Drake Maverick? Drake Maverick was a top guy for TNA, and then he came to the main roster, and he was the mouthpiece for the Authors of Pain. Even going all the way back to the 80s, one of the greatest talkers of all time, the greatest characters of all time, Roddy Piper. They never wanted him to wrestle. They wanted him to do Piper's Pit. They wanted him to be a manager, and they didn't expect him to do wrestling. So this is something that Vince is going on nearly 40 years of how he views professional wrestlers of a certain height, of a certain stature. He just views them in that way, and I don't think it's likely to change anytime soon. So I think we're all in agreement that this was the right move for Adam Cole. Even if he didn't hear about the plans, it seems like this is the right move for him overall. You mentioned Ruby Soho, Jarrett Bailey. So we're gonna bring in our female, our first lady of the Tru Heel Heat gang, Miss Krssi Love is here with us.
Hi guys, good morning.
We played your epic rant to kick off the show, Krssi.
Oh, did you?
Yes. We had to introduce you properly to anyone new joining us from the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel, as well as our special guest, Jarrett Bailey. Jarrett, Miss Krssi
Hi,
Love.
Jarrett. Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
It's nice to
Air
meet
hugs
you.
to you, friend.
I enjoyed your Tessa Blanchard rant. It was very, very well received. I will say that.
Okay, so then I didn't embarrass myself and cussing out.
No.
Okay,
Not at all.
Great.
Not at
No.
all.
Every
And just
word you said, I backed every word up.
just in case anyone is joining us, last minute and they missed out on it.
Like, Krssi, JJ, do you think is there a plan for Tessa? What would you do?
I really don't give a shit about Tessa Blanchard. I think she's a fuck boy. I really don't give a shit about her. So that's my answer. So I don't really give a fuck what she does, to be honest.
Everything that she said. I could give two flying fucks about Tessa Blanchard. Like, dumb. Like, if she shows up to any of these companies, it's literally only for a reaction because nobody can give two fucks about her. And then she's probably going to have a ring requirement when she gets there. So she's going to be like, oh, so Jade Cargill can't be there. Riho can't be there. Like, I just need Ty Conti in there. Yeah, Ruby, you might be able to stay there. But the rest of y'all gotta go.
Oh, fuck that bitch. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not supposed to. You said I wasn't supposed to swear, and I really apologize.
I literally have been the only person on the show that has to swear.
I mean, you can't. How could she say it without saying it? Like, I say, let it happen.
So nice you had to play it twice. So yes, Krssi Love is here with us. So Krssi, we were talking about the big debuts for AEW All Out 2021. And as I bring you in, as we're talking about Ruby Soho, what was your thoughts on her debut? And who is it on the AEW women's roster that you want to see Ruby Soho versus the most?
I was very, very happy to see her. Well deserved. She deserves all of the praise that she got. The pop that she got was amazing, and of course the Destination AEW on the back of her jacket, amazing. Who do I want her to go against? I'm not mad at Britt so far. I think that would be great. She won't win, but I think that would be a great first match for her. I wouldn't be mad at her going against Red Velvet. I think that would be a good one. Jade is another one. There's so many girls that's there that she can go head to head with. I think the Bunny is a good one, like a good, who else? Thunder Rosa. Those two right there. They were the last two. I was like, I didn't know I wanted to see it until it happened. So I definitely want to see another like 20 minutes for them or whatever, or they can like close out either Rampage or Dynamite. I think that would be great. Definitely can headline it.
So to wrap up this conversation here, I'll start with Jarrett. Who do you think long-term will be the biggest signing for AEW out of these three, Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, or Bryan Danielson?
I mean, it's hard to say because they're all going to be vital pieces of that roster going forward, especially Adam Cole right now. It seems that they're already teasing kind of the elite infighting because he's been very careful not to say, like, praise the Good Brothers, which is something that is very noticeable.
I said that, yep. He did not acknowledge them at all.
Exactly. So whenever that becomes a storyline, that's going to be great. Bryan Danielson's just going to make everybody look good and kick people's heads in, and it's going to be great. And throwing off F-bombs whenever he can, it's been fantastic. But no, Ruby, I think she's going to have a lot of impact on that women's division that really needed it. And hopefully that they can just continue using her to build up these other performers that they've tried to build up so far. Like Jade Cargill's got to push. I would love to see her against Ruby. Tay Conti, Anna Jay,
yes.
Anybody that you want to put with her, it's going to be awesome. So I think all of them are going to fit right in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they all do.
So, Top Guy JJ, same question for you, but also our question from John Elite here, who says between Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, who was a bigger loss for WWE?
Ooh.
I think on all fronts it's Adam Cole. I think on all fronts. And obviously Daniel Bryan is going to have the quicker impact, but Adam Cole is 32 years old. Adam Cole is not even in his wrestling prime yet.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE had him at 28 and fumbled that in 4 years. Had one of the greatest NXT runs ever, and then forgot his contract expired. That is a slap in the face to anybody that's dealing with contracts. So I think it's Adam Cole. Bryan Danielson is gonna be fucking amazing. Ruby Soho is gonna bring so much volume to that women's division. But at just long term, because I think Adam Cole has so much to offer, pretty much to the entire roster.
So we got one for Cole and Krssi Love. What about you? Ruby Soho, Bryan Danielson, or Adam Cole? Who's going to be the bigger signing for AEW long term?
Definitely Adam Cole. But did you just say that they forgot his contract was expiring?
Yeah, they completely forgot.
He didn't know.
They deserved losing him. They didn't need him. He didn't need to be there.
He didn't know it expired when it did either. So to be fair to WWE, no one knew.
Okay, sure.
He's a performer. He's a talent.
Right.
Hey, they were under an assumption and it changed. So hey,
just how they had 30 days for Malachi Black, and look what happened to that, right?
Yes, but one person who they do know's contract is about to expire is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens might be the next WWE superstar to make the jump to AEW, or he might re-sign with his contract set to expire in January 2022. Fightful Select reported this week that while Owens had revealed in May of 2018 that he had just signed a 5-year deal, his contract is now set to expire in January of 2022. According to the outlet, Owens was one of the contracts that was restructured before the pandemic and was for one reason or another changed to expire in January of 2022 instead of May of 2023. There's no word on why Owens' contract was shortened or if any other elements of the deal were changed. To play into these reports, Kevin Owens tweeted out the coordinates to Mount Rushmore on his Twitter page. Mount Rushmore not only being a national monument, but also the name of his PWG group with Adam Cole, baby, and the Young Bucks. KO also edited his Twitter bio location to almost there, while the Young Bucks changed their location to there. This contract situation is different from the ones of Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Aleister Black, where WWE were surprised by deals expiring earlier than they believed or not having the correct non-compete clause. Fightful reported that WWE is aware of Kevin Owens' deal expiring. It's also worth noting that during a discussion on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was noted by Dave Meltzer that Owens is one of the least scripted wrestlers in WWE and is generally allowed to say what he wants. Owens is similar to Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and John Cena in that regard. It was also noted that he's allowed to do a lot more and say what he thinks because they have confidence in his promo ability. Also worth noting, because when you talk about Kevin Owens, you got to talk about his life partner in professional wrestling, and I'm talking about Sami Zayn. They reached out to WWE sources and were told simply that Zayn's contract is not up in the fall of 2021, though more specific details were not made known. The fall 2021 date circles back to his interview with TVA Sports in Canada in April of 2019, which had included a report that Zayn had signed a 3-year deal shortly before leaving for his operations. So with 6 time so often added to the length of the contract, he still has about 2.5 years left on his current deal. So Zayn and Owens may be expiring within months of each other. We don't know as of yet. But Jarrett, what's your thoughts on Kevin Owens with his deal about to, be up? Do you think that he re-signs with WWE or he makes the move to AEW?
To me, Kevin Owens has always been a tweener for me. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to WWE. But everything is pointing to he's going to AEW with just everything that you just said, the whole Mount Rushmore thing, the tweeting out the coordinates, the Young Bucks bio, his bio, the location. It just seems like it's all coming together. Would I love to see Kevin Owens in AEW? Absolutely. The only thing that I would be concerned about is, okay, AEW might seem to start to saturate their roster a little bit. And that's a problem for guys who they've made homegrown stars, because the more top talent you bring in elsewhere, it's going to push some guys down. So that's the only concern I would have with bringing in Kevin Owens, although I would love everything about it. That's the only thing I would be concerned about. So right now I'm kind of like 65-35 in way of AEW, just because of everything that him and the Bucks are doing on Twitter and everything. But it would not shock me if he does go back to WWE, because if they lose Kevin Owens as well, who do they have going forward as like their main event guys? Are they just going to rely on Edge and Roman Reigns and Brock? Like, I don't know what they're going to do, because they're losing a lot of like fan favorite main event guys. And, you know, the fact that they have two different shows with two different brands, it makes each of those rosters like a lot more thin when they're completely separate. So if they lose Kevin Owens and eventually Sami Zayn, that's detrimental to not just SmackDown, but WWE as a whole. And it would be bad. But I would not be surprised if both Owens and Zayn did end up in AEW within the next year.
You sleeping on Goldberg?
Yeah.
If you follow me on Twitter, you know how much I hate Goldberg with a fiery passion.
I feel the same way, friend.
One of many, it seems. A bunch of great comments in the live chat going on. Of course, if you want your comment highlighted or featured on the show, a super chat donation is greatly appreciated. It helps out the channel greatly. It helps us provide more live content and better videos, better mic work. So super chat donation always appreciated, and we will definitely feature your comment on screen. Top guy JJ, what do you think? Do you think Owens resigns or goes to AEW?
They can't afford this. It's to the point. It's going to get to the point where WWE cannot afford to constantly lose. Like I guess maybe they feeling like signing Gabe Stevenson is going to save their lives, but he ain't even going to be available to them until May of 2022. So I don't know what they're seeing as a talent overhaul, what they're trying to do here, because this doesn't work. Like, you can't just let everybody go that people love and enjoy and buy their merch and go to hear them talk and go to see them wrestle, for them to literally just go away. They don't just go away. We remember them, and then we're going to go turn the TV on to where they are. And there's only one place that he would go to, clearly, that would make any sense. So I it's going to get to the point where they're going to lose so many people. WWE is going to have to overpay to keep some of these guys. And I think that Kevin Owens might be the first in line to get overpaid, because they cannot keep losing them. Like, they're going to throw the bag at Kevin Owens, and not saying he doesn't deserve it, but this is not going to be a contract that they offered him 2 years ago.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. Krssi Love, what about you? Do you think he gets re-signed or he goes to AEW?
They have to throw him all of the bags. They have to, because if they lose him and potentially Sammy, it's the slow crumble of them going down the hill. They're already going down the hill, but it's going to be an even more climb down that hill, because they can't lose these guys. Like, Sammy's a mid-carder. Like, Kevin is a main event. You can't lose these guys. If you lose these guys, who is there to wrestle? To be honest, who is there going to be on
Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode?
Now you see, you just as much as you hate Goldberg, I cannot stand Dolph Ziggler.
I love Dolph Ziggler. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I love Dolph. He's underutilized. I love Dolph.
He is very underutilized, but he's so
and he sells amongst the best of them in the business. I love Dolph.
That
Ziggler.
Is very true. But yes, I don't see Kevin leaving, because they're going to throw every penny at him, because they need him to stay in order for this company to just stay where it is right now. Because if they lose him, and just like you said, Jarrett, I hope that if he do leave and then they go to AEW, I just hope that they have so many people now. It's like I hope they utilize them all well, because then you have
the thing with that, and I think it can be done because AEW does seem to be doing well at cycling in and out of the wrestlers in terms of the programs that they're in. They have 2 cable shows, they have 2 YouTube shows, so they have 4 different platforms where everybody can kind of get their own shine. Dark and Dark Elevation seem to be kind of like that, the mid card shows or the lower card shows, which is great because everybody needs to know who these wrestlers are and they need their shine. So having that along with Dynamite, along with Rampage, like I feel like there is a spot for everybody. And eventually people from AEW are gonna leave too.
Yes.
I think
are they going to WWE though?
I don't know. I think like a guy like Brian Cage could just go back to Impact because it seems like they're trying to push him, but it just doesn't seem like anybody cares.
To see him. Yeah, that's the part. That's what it is. No one cares to see him.
We will definitely get into Brian Cage and his wife's complaints on AEW booking for sure.
and just don't.
And in the clutch, even when he's not home, Romeo comes in the clutch with the meme.
Every show I've ever done, that was the highlight of all of them. That was fantastic. I love it.
So just so you know, 3 weeks ago I was next.
Really?
And now as soon as Krssi Love comes back, she's next.
Wow.
Both of them.
Jarrett, to me in the group chat. I need to save that.
Jarrett Bailey and Miss Krssi Love, you're next.
That's fantastic.
Before we wrap up this topic right here, we're going to go around the horn and just give me one guy you would like to verse Kevin Owens in AEW. Out of everyone on the AEW roster, who's the one dream match for Kevin Owens you want to see the most if he is to jump to All Elite Wrestling? Let's start with Miss Krssi Love.
I think him and Wardlow would be great.
I like that. That's the one that not too many people would mention, but I actually like that.
Really, really good. He's just not being used the way he's just a right hand man right now. But when he does get that time and shine, I think he does very well. I think him and Kevin Owens can go at it really well too.
Jarrett, what about you?
I need MJF versus Kevin Owens for the promo battles alone. Now I will say this though. If Kevin Owens does go there, eventually I think MJF needs to become champion. If we can do some sort of triple threat feud with Kevin Owens, CM Punk, and MJF, the fire promos that would come from that.
Wow.
You can just rake in money off of that. So MJF and CM Punk are the 2 that I would have at the very top of that list.
Okay.
I actually did an article for Sportskeeda Wrestling on 5 dream matches for Kevin Owens, and yes, number 1 was CM Punk because I feel like they have always paralleled each other. They've been in the same locker room before, but they never really had a major high-profile match. Top guy JJ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to say somebody different because those are very, very, very powerful answers. But just give me Kevin Owens and Penta El Zero Miedo in the ring. In a one-on-one match, just give me that and just give them 30 minutes and just shut up and watch.
Those are all good. That's the battle of the package power drivers. And if El Generico decides to stop raising orphans, El Generico and Kevin Steen versus the Lucha Bros, I'll sign me up for that all day and twice on Tuesday.
That shit could headline a pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
With no problems.
So we got to move on to what we missed, and we got to talk about the rest of the All Out 2021 pay-per-view. Coming out of it, although the final number will not be available till months later, Tony Khan said on Twitter that All Out is the most watched pay-per-view in AEW history. Tony Khan has also confirmed that AEW All Out passed the 200,000 buy rate level, making it the biggest show to date for AEW with ease. To put that in context, it's the biggest non-WWE pay-per-view since 1999, Super Brawl 1999, headlined by Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. That was the last non-WWE pay-per-view that did over 200,000 buys. To put that in context with WWE, it's the highest pay-per-view to get 200,000 buys since 2013. So the final year of WWE before it went to WWE Network never eclipsed 200,000 buys. Busted Open Radio released a clip in which Khan confirmed some numbers that had been floating around, saying that the show did well over 200,000 buys, and the Wrestling Observer newsletter said that it's looking like 205,000 pay-per-view buys for All Out. As previously mentioned, Kenny Omega defeated Christian Cage to retain the AEW World Championship in a great match. That was followed by the huge debuts of Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. CM Punk defeated Darby Allin in his return match, his first match in over 7 years. You also had Ruby Soho made her AEW debut, as previously mentioned, as the Joker card to win the Women's Casino Battle Royale, last eliminating my very own favorite Thunder Rosa, tear emoji, to win the match. Chris Jericho beat MJF to keep his career alive. You also had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeated Chris Statlander to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Miro beat Eddie Kingston to retain the TNT Championship. Jon Moxley defeated Satoshi Kojima. And then the King, Minoru Suzuki, with Kazni Nare being sung by that Chicago crowd. What a beautiful moment. He came out and had a showdown with Jon Moxley and laid him out. And then, as Jarrett said earlier, you had one of the greatest tag team matches in wrestling history, as the Lucha Bros defeated the Young Bucks to win the AEW World Tag Team titles in a Match of the Year candidate inside of a steel cage. The Wrestling Observer newsletter was dropped earlier today, and it rated the match 5 3/4 stars, the second highest rated tag team match in its history, behind Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus who's that? The Young Bucks again.
Oh, yeah.
The Young Bucks again. So
That
anyone who keeps telling me that FTR or all these other current tag teams are greater than the Young Bucks, I'm going to keep mentioning that the Young Bucks keep having these once in a lifetime, greatest of all time matches. So I think it's the Young Bucks that is the greatest tag team of this generation right now. But
don't tell Louis Dangor that.
I know.
I don't even know why it's an argument.
Louis Dangor and our very own Marcus Cash, they get very upset when you mention the Young Bucks and the fact that FTR's greatest match was against the Young Bucks. I mean, just saying. But Jarrett,
greatest matches against the Young Bucks.
What did you think about the cage match? What did stand out from the most to you outside of the cage match and everything else that we've already mentioned from All Out?
But all the near falls, the length of the match, it was just on fire from bell to bell. And all the spots, Rey Fenix being a superhero and diving from the top of the cage, that was really cool. Penta, swooping in to save his brother from, getting the spiked super kick, that was really cool. And then when the tables finally did turn and they used the tack shoe against them to kind of change the momentum, that was awesome. Everything about the match was just great. Mm-hmm. And it's the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. It's a toss-up between that and the Hangman and Kenny versus the Bucks match that is maybe the greatest tag team match of all time. The fact that, AEW, you can make the claim for a bunch of other places as having, okay, who's the best, singles competition, who's the best, whatever. AEW is the all-and-out king of tag team wrestling, and they continue to prove it with just about every big-time pay-per-view that they have. It ruled from start to finish, all the different spots, the level of emotion that was involved in it. Also love the fact that Penta showed up with the title and it's still bloodstained. That ruled. Everything about it it was great. I loved it.
We got 2 comments I got to feature here. Ninja Mortis, thank you for joining us. Good brother says, what's the biggest non-WWE pay-per-view in general? I believe it is WCW, and I'm going to take a shot in the dark. You guys can look it up on Google because I don't have time to look it up on here on the back. I'm going to say Starrcade 1997. off the top of my head, has to probably be the biggest non-WWE pay-per-view in general, because that had the Sting Hulk Hogan match. That was one of their biggest buy rates that they ever did. And then of course we have a super chat donation. That is how you make sure your comment gets featured right here on Tru Heel Heat. Thank you, Negro Buck Nick Jackson, who says, who's one WWE talent y'all want to see in AEW? For me, it's AJ Styles. I gotta see AJ face Kenny Omega at least once before he retires. I totally agree with you. That's one of the major dream matches. If you're going to do WWE versus AEW, AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega, because they have so much history with each other, and the fact that Kenny superseded AJ Styles as the leader of the Bullet Club, and the success he's gone on to since AJ went to WWE, the success that AJ has had in WWE, that's a major one. Krssi Love, who's one WWE talent you want to see in AEW?
I'm not mad at the answer of AJ Styles at all. I think that would be amazing to see all of those guys in one building together, because I didn't get to witness it when it happened before. So I would love to see it happen now.
I agree with you there, Top Guy JJ.
Man, I'm gonna try to be a little different here. Like, give me the return of Tyler Black. Like, come on, like. I just feel like
if you ask me if there's one WWE talent that I think would never go to AEW, it's Seth Rollins. It's Seth Rollins.
Seth is like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. They're not going anywhere. They are loyal to a fault, and they just don't see themselves in, especially Seth always talking crap on Twitter about other people and stuff like that. He's WWE hardcore. For him and Roman are never going anywhere.
Yeah,
for sure.
The more reality one. Steph is the more fantasy one.
Insert unrelated picture of Will Ospreay here. But no, I would love to see Finn Balor. Return Prince Devitt.
Finn.
I'd want to see that very badly. I feel like that could be a lot of fun.
We got a very good question here. I was going to answer it later, but since you're asking it, and Rachel Cornell, you're one of our favorites, I will answer it for you. It would have cost an arm and a literal leg. It would have cost about $50,000 to use it first time, and then $50,000 for every pay-per-view afterwards. So that is why the final countdown. I have more details on that. That's going to be during the news rundown. But Rachel Cornell, thank you for joining us. I wanted to answer that for you there, and a bunch of other people are also answering in live chat. It costs way too much, and
it's not worth it. It's not really worth it at the end.
Damn you, Europe.
Yes,
did you guys? There's a video out there of somebody like put in the final countdown and like they worked it all in. It sounded so much better. Like, I don't mind Bryan Danielson's theme music, but when you inserted final countdown, it was a trillion times better. I wish they could have done it, but I understand why they didn't.
Yo, they're paying somebody salary with two uses of the song.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I'm not upset with the song that he had. That was an absolute bobski, and I've been jamming to it ever since then. And the fact that it has "You're Gonna Get Your Fucking Head Kicked In" underneath the beat to it, it's even better when you realize that point. We have to also talk about, since we talked about All Out, we talked about all the signings and the fallout from there. WWE themselves have produced a really quality show this week, and I'm talking about last night's SmackDown, one of the best WWE TV episodes of the year, in my opinion, with Brock Lesnar's return to confront Roman Reigns, playing mind games, asking Paul Heyman why he didn't tell Roman that he was going to be at SummerSlam, and then challenging Reigns for the Universal Championship. That led to him getting mad at Paul Heyman, lifting him up for an F5, but Roman came in to make the save. The Usos came in and delivered super kicks to Brock Lesnar, who kind of ate those and then gave them Suplex City with German suplex. Just a completely hot open to the show, and the New York crowd was on fire, cheering for Roman Reigns, which is not something that you hear all the time.
They acknowledged him.
They acknowledged our tribal chief.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
Absolutely. Later on in the night, the Street Profits beat the Usos by disqualification. Sorry, Mr. Khan. Best we could do is $50K.
Yo.
Always with the beefs. Later on in the night. Yes, it is. Later on in the night, in the main event, Street Profits beat the Usos by disqualification in a SmackDown Tag Team Titles match after Roman helped them retain, causing the disqualification. After the match, Roman said that Brock Lesnar can get some, and then the Demon Finn Balor made his return to confront Roman to end the show, a hot close to the show, and they said that the Demon will face Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. We had a Sports Center moment with Trey Young, the biggest MSG
Damn,
heel.
look at
Yes,
that. Look at that. Gee, those two fine men. Oh my God. Ugh. I'm sorry. Go ahead, SP. Sorry.
This moment was sponsored by Miss Krssi Love. But yes, Trey Young, the biggest heel in MSG, came out to help Sami Zayn in a 10-man tag that was won by Big E, Nakamura, Boogs, and the Mysterios. Becky Lynch channeled Conor McGregor to heel it up against Bianca Belair in a contract signing. You had Seth Rollins defeated Edge in a fantastic match with Seth hitting the curb stomp to have Edge stretchered out. There were no women's matches on this night, despite Becky Lynch channeling Conor McGregor, which feeds into a report from Fightful Select, who reported that a tag team match of hometown hero Zelina Vega, who is a victim of the 9/11 tragedy. On the 20th anniversary, her father passed away in 9/11. She had very special gear made for the event, but she was left off the card. She was supposed to team with Carmella to face Toni Storm and Liv Morgan, but that was scrapped from the show, along with a planned segment with Kevin Owens and Happy Corbin. And then hashtag Give SmackDown Woman a Chance trended on Twitter after the show. Jarrett, what was your thoughts on this edition of SmackDown and the fallout, with a lot of fans, either praising it or being upset for the women of WWE?
I mean, obviously the opener was really good and the closing was really good, but I mean, we saw Liv Morgan was really upset on Twitter. Obviously, Zelina Vega was upset with good reason. We saw this women's revolution a few years ago, and now it just seems like, okay, Vince is just saying, all right, yeah, the women had their time. Let's shoo them out of here. Like, what the hell are we doing? And it's just so annoying. Not to mention all the women that have been released in the past year and a half. That they've just ripped apart their women's division. And again, because it's Raw and SmackDown separate, both women's divisions look incredibly, incredibly thin. So the fact that we didn't get to see Zelina Vega after like you said, she had special gear made for her dad who died in that. Like, what are we doing here? It just pisses me off that, Zelina came back too. Like, after everything that happened, she came back. And she just continues to be, along with a lot of the women on the roster, just treated like afterthoughts. So it does annoy me a lot that they're not getting the attention that they deserve. Like I said, Liv Morgan tweeted about it as well. So there's a lot of problems going on in terms of the women's division in WWE that need addressed. And it's just disappointing because all around it was a really solid show. And just to have that overshadow it is a pain. But they did it to themselves. WWE did it to themselves.
As they usually do. And, we had Ninja Mortis say that he was disappointed that Romeo wasn't on camera with us. I had Romeo send us a little clip of his thoughts on SmackDown as he hosted the watch along. And he is very much a big Zelina Vega fan. So he wanted to share his thoughts. Here it is.
What is up, everyone? Romeo here. It is September 11th, 2021, and it's 9/11. And 9/11 means a lot of things to a lot of different people. For me personally, as a New Yorker, it feels very personal. It was a terrorist attack on our city, and New Yorkers take it very personally. If you know, there's a bunch of New Yorkers here on Tru Heel Heat. For me, I won't say that it directly led to me joining the military, but I would say it was a part. Like, years later, it definitely played a part just to be proud to be from New York and serve in the military. I remember one day in basic training where woke up 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I don't remember what time. And we had to do kitchen cleaning duties, just random odd jobs, paying your dues, joining the military. And we were lined up outside the kitchen to go work. And my military training instructor told us, hey, you should be more proud today than any other day because we killed that son of a bitch, Osama bin Laden. And I was like, what? Holy shit. Like 10 years later from like 9/11. It was around that time. So I got pride from that. That was the best dishes I've ever cleaned in my life that morning. And if I get a kind of pride from that, if 9/11 just means that to me, imagine what it means to someone like Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, whose father passed away in the attacks. Last night, didn't get to wrestle in SmackDown. If you've been following her on social media, she was really, really looking forward to this. She had her custom gear made, and it was a chance to perform in front of her hometown. And that's a bad job by WWE. I know she's a heel, but let her have her moment in front of her hometown on such a weekend of 9/11. You were doing these video packages in the commercials. Never forget. And on this episode of SmackDown, they forgot about one of their own, one of their family. And, here she is this morning reading her father's name still in New York. I had to get that off my chest. I was like, what a bad job. How do you fuck this up? Ugh. Bad job by WWE. Back to Tru Heel Heat 142. Jarrett Bailey. Sorry I couldn't be there. Question for you. Please tell me about my New York Jets this year. And also my favorite player in the NFL, Joe Burrow. If you could comment on those two things before the show's over, that'd be great. See ya.
I did say, NFL minute was over, but that was such beautiful words from Romeo, giving his personal story connected to 9/11, kind of encapsulating a lot of fans' feelings on Thea Trinidad being left off the card and Zelina Vega missing out on that opportunity. So, Jarrett, please appease Romeo. What's your thoughts on the Jets' chances this year?
I mean, I love Zach Wilson. There's a running joke between a few people on Twitter that I have a Zach Wilson ceiling poster above my bed because I love him so much. So I like them a lot. They're not going to be a playoff team or anything, but they can win 6-7 games this year. I think that's pretty doable with the offense they have.
I love it.
That's an honor. That's a compliment. One less win than my Titans, supposedly.
Here we go.
There you go.
But I just wanted, that was a great piece.
It was
Romeo gave.
Very
great
good
piece, highlighting all of us here in New York that has dealt with this. Obviously, that led my brother to also join the military too, and thanked him for his services. Obviously, earlier in the day, this day is still resonating 20 years later. Like, you still just remember 849, 846, 909. Like, you just remember those times, and it's like you remember exactly where you were.
Yes, definitely. It is an important day to all of us being New Yorkers. Me, Krssi Love, Top Guy JJ, a couple of the cast from the Tru Heel Heat gang. So we want to, send our thoughts to any person who lost anybody in 9/11, and especially to the heroes of that day. And we remember those who lost on 9/11 on this 20th anniversary. Shout out to EBB giving us a super chat donation, 20 pounds. Thank you. As always, EBB, you're one of our favorites here. Said, wanted to support the great channel. Regarding the Young Bucks, the sign of a great team is being able to tell different stories. The Bucks have excelled there. Omega Page is pure art to me. My favorite match of all time. That's definitely in my top 5 greatest matches of all time. One of my favorite matches ever. And that's why I said, coming out of All Out, even though it was recency bias, and I definitely could have said that the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks was the greatest tag team match I ever seen. It just didn't have that art and that storytelling of Omega and Page from Revolution. But being just behind that is not too shabby for one team to have those two matches. The match with FTR at Full Gear last year, Chapter, the Escalera de la Muerte at All Out 2019. It's just ridiculous amount of match this year against Pac and Phoenix. This is all in All Elite Wrestling in 2 years. I'm not including all their classic matches from Ring of Honor or PWG or New Japan. The Young Bucks is on an all-time great run as a tag team in AEW, and it's worth mentioning and praising because not enough people do that. But we do have to praise SmackDown. Like I said, in my opinion, one of the better WWE TV shows of the year. And Ariel Helwani reports that last night's SmackDown produced the highest gross SmackDown gate of all time per sources, not just in New York, of any city ever for any SmackDown that has been around for well over 20 years. So a very successful night as far as quality and money for WWE there. But they weren't the only show last night. AEW Rampage was on right afterwards. Andrade El Idolo beat Pac thanks to help from Chavo Guerrero. After the match, though, Andrade turned on Chavo, and that Andrade and Pac was definitely Andrade's best output in AEW so far. Just a great match, great opener there for Rampage. Ruby Soho continued her hot streak, teaming with Chris Statlander and Riho to defeat Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. And Brian Pillman Jr., the hometown hero of Cincinnati, beat Max Caster in the main event. After the match, he was attacked by the Acclaim, with Jon Moxley making the save. Top Guy JJ, what was your thoughts on Pac and Andrade tearing it up on Rampage?
Oh, that was a phenomenal match. I mean, it was called that was the match of the night, even though like SmackDown I gave the edge to as an overall show, but that was the match of the night. I mean, that was something that Andrade needed more than anything during his AEW run, because I've just been calling it like I've been calling it like I see it. Like Andrade's AEW run has been utter garbage. And I'm glad that this match had really solidified, started to get that steam that he desperately needed, because his run prior to this, all these backstage segments, whether it's with Chavo, Vicky, has been straight trash. So this match was so needed. Pac, we kind of knew was going to deliver, but I was so happy to see Andrade deliver at this level, at this scale, because he showed out last night.
Absolutely. Great performance for Andrade in his best match, probably since leaving WWE altogether. He finally looked like one of the best in the world again. But that wasn't the only AEW show that's worth talking about. And this one was a big one. AEW Dynamite, coming off of All Out this week, did huge numbers. They scored their second highest TV rating ever in the history of the program, 1.319 million viewers, and beat Monday Night Raw in the key 18-49 demo, and with a 681,000 to 678,000 for Monday Night Raw. Jon Moxley beat Minoru Suzuki in a violent yet short main event. Bryan Danielson had a confrontation with AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, with the Elite getting involved and being ran off by Danielson, Christian Cage, Frankie Kazarian, and Jurassic Express. MJF was featured in one of the best non-wrestling segments on Dynamite in recent history, making fun of Cincinnati getting that cheap heat, and the Pillman family, leading to a confrontation with Brian Pillman Jr. Malachi Black defeated Dustin Rhodes in a good opener. CM Punk set up a feud with Team Taz that led to Powerhouse Hobbs getting a showcase win over Dante Martin. Miss Krssi Love, what stood out the most for you from this Dynamite episode?
Definitely MJF's promo, and then Brian Pillman Jr. coming out. MJF is just amazing. Like, yeah, he has to get that belt soon. Like, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. He has to be like at least like next in line or somebody, because he is just like amazing. Just awesome. But yes, I think MJF's promo was just the highlight for the night.
And Jarrett, how big do you think it is that AEW Dynamite beat Raw in the demo this week?
It's big. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You know, Jericho talked about it on, I can't remember what pod or anything, but he predicted, hey, with, you know, it may not be every week, but we're gonna start doing better numbers than Raw. And well, what happened? They are. It's just they put out a much better product than what Raw has. No, SmackDown's been getting a lot better. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of what AEW does, it's night and day compared to Raw. It's so much better. The only complaint that I had about this show is I love CM Punk with all my heart. I don't give a damn about him fighting Taz's kid.
Right? That was dumb.
That whole thing.
That's stupid.
All the people on that roster, Team Taz is the last group of people I want to see Punk feud with. Of all the factions in AEW, Team Taz is by far the worst. I don't care what they have to do. It's no disrespect to any of them. Like Ricky Starks by himself is good. Powerhouse Hobbs is a monster. I don't care about Hook. I don't give a damn about Taz's freaking son. And Taz on the mic.
I do. I'm a hooker. I'm a hooker.
Good for you,
I'm a fan of Hook.
I cannot stand Hook. I'm tired of hearing Taz on the mic because he's annoying. I don't care if that irritates people. I don't like Taz. I'm sorry. They are the last group I want to see Punk feud with. And sure, I get it. Punk wants to help, put over guys. Good for him. That's awesome. I have zero interest. I'm going to watch it because it's Punk. So maybe that's, the end game whatsoever. Hey, it's Punk. They're going to watch it. So props to AEW for that. But of all the guys on the roster, Team Taz, very much bottom of the barrel who I want to see Punk feud with. I do not care whatsoever. That's the only complaint I have.
And we got another super chat donation from EBB saying Matt Jackson's facial hair needs some discussion. I think you're more talking about Nick Jackson.
I think I like Nick Jackson's hair.
Nick Jackson.
Can we show a picture, please? Where's our producer? I need to see it now. What do you?
I don't know. I don't know if Romeo's on the dime there, or Baby Seth can pull that up. But yes,
Nick Jackson. Know if he was going for an Antonio Brown look, but it very much reminded me of like Raiders.
Their outfits were amazing. And they just
yeah.
Listen, I told my husband I'm buying him one of those outfits, and he has to make sure he wears it because.
And then when you watch BTE, and then you see the detail that they put in these things, it's incredible.
Well, we got EBB also saying, "Whoa! What is this Hook slander?" He's agree with you.
He's not good.
I don't like this good. Hook slander. At the very least, I will not allow this. You're lucky you're a guest. If it was one of them, I would have kicked him out the show.
I think if you ask most fans, they'll say the exact same thing I just did. Team Taz just bores me.
No, when you do a poll, I dare you to do a poll on
I'll do one right now. I'll do one right now.
I agree with you, Jarrett, for sure.
And say what will lead to more female viewers, more Hook or more women's matches. I guarantee you more Hook would win.
I'm not doing that. I'll say, do you like, are you in on Team Taz? Yes or no? So if you want to
Hook.
go.
Just Hook.
I don't care about Hook.
We don't Team care about I'm not talking about Team Taz. I'm talking about Hook. Don't you dare talk about Hook like that. All right,
fine. Are you in on Hook and a hashtag AEW? If you want to go vote on the poll at JBailey NFL on Twitter.
Yeah. That is him. He's my least favorite one anyway.
Classic.
So I like the other one.
He's the best one. He's the best one.
Yo,
he's the best one.
What?
He's the best one.
They're both top-notch assholes.
They are. I like the other brother better though.
And
he's much better looking.
Oh,
too.
Jimmy McAram and Marcus Cash are very upset with you right now. They would not be happy with you saying that at the very least. We have to move on. You guys are great in the comments. I love the Hook Army. The Hook Army is out for you. It's out for you, Jared.
Well, if you want to vote on the poll and let me know how you feel at JBailey NFL on Twitter, I just tweeted it out. So go ahead and do that.
Wow.
Comment all the mean things that you want to me. I'll still say that Hook isn't good. That's fine.
Look at this. Look at the hookers. Look at the hookers in the chat. The hookers are here. The hookers. Yes. The hookers are here.
He looks like
Mr. Potato Head.
He looks like Rufio from Hook.
Oh. The hookers are in the chat and they are not with this Hook slander. Thank you.
Don't get me wrong. If he was to be like a guest star in like a Vampire Diaries reboot, would be all in. But absolutely, of all the guys on the roster, Hook is by far the last one I want to see Punk again.
Could one of our producers put an in-chat poll of Hook? Please give me an in-chat poll of are you a hooker or not? Please, can we do that?
Can I vote on this poll? Is that something that I can do?
You can.
All right.
You can jump on the YouTube channel. You can vote in the poll. Are you a hooker or nah? I want that to be the poll in the in chat, please. Yes, we are, Annika. Yes, we are. Yes, we are calling. Y'all are calling yourselves hookers. Yes, see, Tyler Woodward, he's a hooker. Yes, we are hookers because we are fans of Hook. But
okay, fair enough. Nick Jackson, I see your comment putting Marco Stunt over Hook. That's fair. I don't like Marco Stunt either. No disrespect to Marco Stunt. He's freaking annoying. I'm not a fan of his character whatsoever.
See, now you're trying to get Marcus Cash back on side of this episode because he's he hates Marco Stunt as
Marco
well.
Stunt, it could just be Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. That is fine. Marco Stunt is annoying.
That is fair. I'm not gonna lie. WWE
for the last 5 minutes has been real.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's just certain. I love AEW as a whole. I have very few problems with them. Hook and Marco Stunt are two of them.
I don't like the hooker slander, but we're gonna see what the in chat poll says. WWE NXT this week, they were low on the rating poll. They did 601,000 viewers for the final NXT before its rebrand next week. MSK beat Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch to retain the NXT tag team titles. After the match, Pete Dunne and Rich Holland turning on Lorcan and Burch to end the show. Io Shirai and Zoe Starks defeated Casey Canizaro and Kaden Carter to retain the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Kaylee Ray beat Ember Moon in a very good opener. Santos Escobar defeated Carmelo Hayes in a fun match. And there was the hilarious Index Bachelor Party with Johnny Gargano, Dexter Loomis, and Cameron Grimes. All great stuff. I enjoyed this very much. Yes. What was your thoughts on this, Miss Krssi Love?
I enjoyed every minute of it. Laser tag was amazing. I love. They picked as the guys to go with them on the bachelor party was hilarious. Like, I would have never even put those group of guys together to go out, and it was so great. Whoever shot that, bravo to them, because that was the best thing on NXT that night anyway. Besides the MSK fight, but other than that, that was a highlight for me. I love, you know me. I love me some Dexter. So that was so fun. And then Johnny finally coming around and having fun with them. I thought it was great.
Yes, I thought that this was very entertaining. I haven't been into too much of the Index stuff, but this was good shit. This was good shit. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Grand Slam Night 2, we also missed. Shingo Takagi defeated Evil to retain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Robbie Eagles beat Hiromu Takahashi to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Dangerous Tekkers beat Naito and Sanada and Goto and Yoshihashi to retain the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. We're going to give you the G1 lineups in our news rundown. GCW Art of War Games, one of the biggest events from Game Changer Wrestling this year. Jon Moxley appeared as a surprise and defeated Matt Cardona to win the GCW World Championship in shocking fashion, and then accepted the challenge of Nick Gage for October 9th in Atlantic City. It would be Nick Gage versus Jon Moxley, a match that's been building for months. They finally will meet for the GCW World Championship, an event that I'm pretty sure is already close to or has already sold out. Nick Gage captained the team MDK defeat over Team 440 in the brutal and bloody Art of War Games match with light tubes and scaffold jumps. It was crazy. It was insane. Definitely GCW, the hottest independent promotion right now. WWE Raw did 1.8 million viewers this week. MVP and Bobby Lashley won the show-long tag team turmoil to earn a shot at the Raw tag team titles of RK Bro. Sheamus beat Drew McIntyre to earn a shot at the the Damian Priest's United States Championship. Charlotte Flair beat Nia Jax to retain the Raw Women's Championship thanks to Shayna Baszler. And then Alexa Bliss challenged Charlotte to set up a match for Extreme Rules. Top Guy JJ, what did you think about this Raw that featured a lot more wrestling than usual, and a lot of people calling it one of the better Raw shows of the year?
You know, it wasn't the best show at all, but there wasn't too much to complain about. Like, it was very generic, like very generic TV matches, but they didn't add, like, I'm sorry, like, this Reggie shit is not for me at all. Like, I get that they got to fill 3 hours up somehow, but there's some things that's just like, I cannot deal with on Raw. But part 2 of that I might be in a minority here, but I enjoyed that scrap fight between Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair part 2. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Like, it was like a Hawk Fest show. Like, it had that feeling of Charlotte needing to defy the bigger odds. Like, that's what it felt like, that entire match, which I actually enjoyed. I was glad to see Sheamus actually defeat Drew McIntyre for the second time in like 2 years. But it wasn't a terrible show. Like, it wasn't something that, oh my God, I'm gonna rip to shreds. Like, actually, it was kind of cool. The turmoil was actually pretty nice. That kicked it off. Gave the New Day a lot of shine in the beginning. And then obviously what we knew what was going to come is with Lashley and MVP, which not a bad episode, but it obviously it wasn't the best at all, but not something I'm going to complain about.
I think it was one of the better episodes of Monday Night Raw. Yes, the bar is low, and yes, I've graded on a Raw curve, but still one of the better episodes of Raw this year. Super chat donation from the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. Thank you very much, sir. And he says, simple super chat in memory of the old NXT RIP. Leave the memories alone. Don't change a thing. And I want you here for the memories. Yes, and then the final show, what we missed.
Right?
We'll miss you. The final show that we missed for what we missed, Impact on Access TV. Scott D'Amore set up a 10-man tag for next week with Impact World Champion Christian Cage and number 1 contender Ace Austin as captains. The show centered on both men finding teammates. Ace picking Madman Fulton, Brian Myers, Moose, and W. Morrissey, while Christian chose Josh Alexander, Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, and Sami Callihan with a show closing angle that saw Eddie and Sami finally aligned against Morrissey and Moose. Great ending to the show, I thought. Moose beat Eddie Edwards in the main event, and Carl Anderson defeated Rich Swann in a bunkhouse brawl. As we move on to our news rundown, WWE news, probably the most interesting news from WWE this week had to do with Mick Foley posting a disparaging video on the state of WWE coming out of All Out 2021 titled, WWE, We Got a Problem. Thank you, Mick Foley, for our title this week, where he stated that the company was creatively devoid at the moment and their treatment of young stars to the reason why established talent is choosing to go to AEW. He also noted if they don't change, more talent will go to AEW. In an interview with Sean Waltman's Pro Wrestling for Life podcast, Mick Foley said, and I quote, "I love the company, I really do, and I think they need to hear that." If I text Vince and said that, that's the one thing, and that might be effective, but I think it needs to get out there. And if it embarrasses them, I think that's okay. Andrew Zarian of the Madman podcast noted that there were some in WWE who were not happy with Foley for making the comments. Zarian noted that there is an unspoken rule in the WWE that legends are not supposed to speak negatively about the company. Foley's comments were taken that way by some in the company, and he is currently on a Legends deal referred to by some as a nostalgia contract. Jarrett, what's your thoughts on Mick Foley's thoughts on the WWE right now, and is he right?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's kind of echoed everything that we've said today. It's just, when you look at how much fun AEW just looks, obviously there's going to be guys in WWE who may not be getting pushed or, given the time to shine that they deserve, guys like Ricochet. guys that have already left, like a Malachi Black or, guys of that nature who look over at the other show and say, like, I can thrive there. And I think that there's a lot of, those conversations happening internally with different guys. So, everything that Mick Foley said was, spot on, as it usually is. Wherever Mick Foley is, I hope he's happy as he can possibly be. And if there's anybody who's earned the right to do it, it is Mick Foley, considering everything that he's done to his body for that company. I think that he's the one guy where he can be like, you know what, I feel like I've earned the gumption of saying this. And he's not wrong. Obviously, WWE is, at this point in time still, looked at as, the maybe the mecca is the wrong word, but in terms of like pro wrestling companies, they're still at the top in terms of revenue and everything like that. But they're not the only show in town anymore. And obviously Impact and TNA or whatever has been around for a long time, but they've never really been seen as a viable competitor. They've kind of been seen as, the minor leagues, I guess, for lack of a better term. But AEW has, very much made the case of, hey, look at what we're doing here. If you don't like where you are and you think that you can do something here, we'll see what we can give you. Tony Khan has been very vocal and like, hey, I like what this guy does. Let's see what we can do with him. So I do think that WWE does very much have a problem, and it's the fact that their product is stale and they've refused to change for years because they didn't have to. Now they very much have to.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with everything you had to say there, Jarrett. Even though EBB sends us a super chat donation saying that you're on thin ice with me, mate, because of your Hook slander and your Marco Sun slander. He says, I ain't rich, but wanted to support for giving me really great streams to watch during a difficult time in my life. Great stuff for all. We are always here for you, EBB, and we always enjoy your comments in the live chat, and those super chat donations are greatly appreciated by the crew. Tyler Woodwork saying Foley ain't wrong, and even we got Nick Jackson saying, damn, can people in the E not take constructive criticism? No. It's a quick question, a quick answer to that.
Been doing this for 4 years and they haven't been able to do this.
And Dion Chua loves those pipes with my rendition of "Leave the Memories Alone." Thank you, Dion. WWE announced this week that they had officially signed Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson to the company's first NIL deal, which would allow Stevenson to join the WWE roster while defending his NCAA title for the University of Minnesota. ESPN reported that Stevenson's deal with the company is their first ever NIL name, image, and likeness deal with the NCAA, and is a multi-year contract that will begin after he officially graduates from the University of Minnesota in May of 2022. The deal allows Stevenson to join WWE while still defending his Division I national championship. He will appear on WWE programming while still attending school and will be full-time with WWE once his contract fully kicks in after he graduates. WWE will be setting up a remote training facility for Stevenson near the University of Minnesota campus where he can train with WWE coaches and will have access to the WWE Performance Center. His brother, as we noted last week, Bobby Stevenson, is currently a Performance Center recruit, and the site also notes that Stevenson had a discussion with UFC and had some interest from the NFL, with the UFC wanting him to get experience in a regional MMA fights before potentially coming into Dana White's Contender Series. What do you think about this name, image, and likeness deal for Gable Steveson, and what does it say for the future of WWE, Top Guy JJ?
Man, this is a good signing. This is a very good signing for the WWE. But the problem with this is that the Olympics are every 4 years. You're not going to come across talents like this every year. This is not something that you're going to have a rich pool of people to dive in from. They're not going to, if you sign the Olympic bronze medalist, it's not going to ring a bell. You got to get the Olympic gold medalist, which is perfect. Obviously, this is, ringing bells to Kurt Angle in 1996. But, it just doesn't happen very often with the amount of people that they're losing to bring in this one guy, which I think if he gets the training, I think they're going to do him right in the wrestling aspect. It's just how much of a personality does he have? But the availability and the training, and I'm glad that they're accommodating his school life, which is obviously first and foremost most important. I like the signing. I like the signing. I just wish that they had more avenues besides they want to not do the indie scene anymore, which is pretty much impossible. But this is a good signing. I just don't think that they have enough of these to handle the pressure that's coming their way, as Mick Foley said in the prior segment.
So we got about almost 30 of you watching right now. We want to thank you for all the support for Tru Heel Heat 142. Remember to drop a like on this video. It helps out the video. It helps other people get to see the video. And yes, I did want to mention this to Jarrett, that 72% of our fans voting in the Tru Heel Heat in chat poll say yes, they are hookers.
Look, y'all like what you like, I guess, but holy hell, no, absolutely
Drop
not.
a like on this video if you like
I'm glad,
quality
Jarrett, you're a man
polls
of
like that.
consistency.
Yeah, I am. If anything else, I'm a man of consistency and look at him. He's got a great jawline. He'd be great in a CW vampire series. That's fine.
Yep,
but,
there you go. Yep.
But in terms of, I'm
Rom-com.
sticking by it. I don't want to see Punk versus Hook. I could not care less about it. I'm gonna watch it. Gotta watch it because Punk's there.
That's the person you put in there with Punk, because Punk can make Hook look good. That's who Hook's first match needs to be with. Yes.
They said the Hooker Diaries.
Let's put the thumbs up for being hookers, and a thumbs up for our good brother, you my boy Blue, for the hardest working team in sports infotainment. Great super chat donation. We always appreciate those. It helps out the channel a lot. So any little amount is greatly appreciated. WWE also this week issued a statement noting that Executive Vice President Triple H underwent a successful procedure last week at Yale New Haven Hospital after he experienced a cardiac event. The event was caused by a genetic heart issue. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers to Triple H. Hope that he has a speedy recovery. In other news, Fightful Select has new details on what talent knows heading into next Tuesday's rebrand of NXT. According to Fightful, as has been the case in recent reports, talent have still been given non-answers about the NXT overhaul when asked NXT higher-ups about it. However, one of the details that has similarly been mentioned is NXT hoping to have more characters moving forward. Though it's noted that appeared to be stated in a broad sense, Fightful mentions that it has heard good things from talent and staff in NXT regarding the changes to the Capitol Wrestling Center, with multiple sources hyping the changes as an improvement physically and a much scaled down version of the main roster TV sets. Miss Krssi Love, are you interested in the new NXT coming up on Tuesday?
No, friend. I'm sorry. As in all of the other WWE products, I'm not really convinced, or I'm not enthused. I don't have any I have to watch and see. I don't feel any kind of way, to be honest, because right now your product is not making me feel anything right now. So it's watered down, and I just don't feel like it's not giving me any type of excitement. I watch it because I am a fan, and we do this podcast, but I'm just not excited to see their product like we used to be. You understand? It doesn't. I don't have the same feeling when I watched AEW or even Impact, and it's it just doesn't get it. We can go down the list, and I've lost that. I've been saying this to a few people before a couple of weeks ago. It's not giving me those feelings that we used to have before. It's not making me excited to be a wrestling fan, unfortunately. And when I watch the other product, especially watching All Out, I'm like, this is what makes me like wrestling. I feel like a wrestling fan when I finished watching that pay-per-view. I was like, this is what I love. This is why I like this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to watch it. We'll talk about it next week, but I'm not really okay, what are you going to change? Because it's going to be still watered down. It's not going to be it's not going to be the stuff we're used to. It's not going to be the old black and gold. It's not going to be that. No, black and yellow.
I'm optimistic because I know the Good Brothers, Romeo, Ness, and Chris G. They have to watch it for NX3, so I'm hoping they're in good spirits. And look, they already have the thumbnail ready
I
for
love
this
it. It looks so
edition
nice.
of NX3, which they will be going live on Tuesday following NXT for the wedding. So bring your whites, watching that with the Good Brothers. Have your whites on. They wore all black for the funeral episode this past week, so they're wearing all white for the wedding.
I'm gonna have
There
to
you
go
go.
to the wedding.
There you go. Be on the show. Be their special
I'm
guest
gonna
for the
be
new
on the
generation.
show.
I hope that NXT 2.0 is just like gonna. They say they want more characters. Just lean into Golden Era booking at this point. Like, just have like a knock version of Britt Baker. If you love Britt Baker DMD, you're gonna love Beth Booker DDS. Like something like that. Just completely stupid. It'll be great.
Now you're thinking, Jarrett. Now you're thinking on their level. You got to think on the Vince level, and you're doing that. I appreciate that.
Just a whole roster full of Gilbergs.
Andrew Zarian of the Batman Podcast has confirmed that the WWE draft will run on the October 1st episode of SmackDown and the October 4th episode of Monday Night Raw. These dates had been previously reported in July, but were not confirmed by Zarian until now. In addition, Zarian reports that the season premiere of SmackDown will be on October 8th and will be when the inaugural Queen of the Ring tournament will begin, as well as this year's King of the Ring. Both tournaments will run through for Raw and SmackDown, and the finals taking place at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia on October 21st. Yes, indeed. GM mode will be returning to WWE 2K franchise with the upcoming installment, according to a new report from Sports Gamer Online, and that the long dormant feature is being brought back for WWE 2K22. One source told the outlet that it was a top priority. The fans clearly wanted it, and the team knew that they had to get it done and get it approved. Top Guy JJ, does GM mode returning make you more likely to get 2K22?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Quick answers. That's what I enjoy.
I'm getting it. Just for that.
I'm enjoying. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
I'll get it.
That's good for you. I'll enjoy it.
I'll go to the My WWE, all the community tabs to import the AEW title, the tag team titles, the TNT title, all the AEW wrestlers. Just throw them into my GM mode. That's all I will do. I'll take all the wrestlers I enjoy from WWE. I'll take Finn. I'll take Sammy. I'll take Kevin Owens and throw them in the mix. But I'm using that community tab like it's nobody's business to have fun with it.
Absolutely. I'm not doing Raw and SmackDown. I'm doing New Japan and AEW. That's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly. I'm doing Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega in a 60-minute Iron Man match at Revolution.
If the gameplay is okay, then yeah, but the last 2 years of gameplay has been the worst in wrestling gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but GMO makes me more likely to get it, in my opinion. AEW news, big one that I gotta ask Jarrett about. Kenny Omega received the honor of being named the PWI 500 number one wrestler of 2022 through 2021. The second through 10 were Roman Reigns at number 2, Bobby Lashley at number 3, Drew McIntyre at number 4, Kota Ibushi at number 5, Jon Moxley at number 6, Will Ospreay at number 7, Finn Balor at number 8, Shingo Takagi at number 9, and Rich Swann at number 10. Did the PWI get it right this year, Jarrett?
Yeah, I mean, Kenny's run has been absolutely phenomenal over the past year. It's been, with everything that they've done with him and Hangman, has been arguably the best story in wrestling. Obviously, it's on hold right now because Hangman's on leave because he just had a child. But even like all the little side plots, the thing with Christian was better than I expected it to be. Everything that they've done in between that has also been really good. So no, I really enjoy it. Obviously, they're going to put Roman and Bobby up there. I'm out on Bobby Lashley. I don't care about his his WWE title run. It doesn't interest me. But obviously, he's had it for a while, so he was going to be in the top 10. So no, I think they definitely got it right with Kenny being number 1. It's absolutely been the most entertaining story that's gone over 2 shows in terms of AEW and Impact, just all over the place. He's held 800 different belts within the past year. He definitely deserved it.
So showing love. I definitely agree with you. I did an article on the 5 reasons why Kenny was number 1. It just seems like people really enjoyed Roman Reigns and were upset about it. But I think that Kenny deserved to be number 1. And we got a question for Top Guy JJ. He says, what is that behind you? Always wondered why you got a collection of empty tubs.
It's not empty.
It's not empty tubs at all. It's actually my massive candle collection.
I was gonna say, are those candles?
It's my
Yes.
massive candle collection from my employment from Bath and Body Works. I'm actually a store manager over there, so yeah, I have access to a lot of shit, and this is one of my favorite things. So yeah, it's my massive candle collection.
Well, JJ, Jarrett Bailey's birthday is December 22nd. If you want to send him, something
So
that smells nice.
Give me a shipping address, and I probably got you.
Okay, that sounds glorious.
So we have a special run-in here from one of the regulars of the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, the drunk side to the other side of JJ. Drunk guy JJ making a run in here. What's going on, good brother? And we have a very important question for you. We had a poll running in the live chat here.
He's not at no live events this time. He's actually at his job.
Are you a hooker? Are you a fan of Hook like the rest of the Tru Heel Heat community?
I mean, I love hookers. I don't know if I'm a fan of Hook though. So no.
See, about damn time.
He's like. Then again,
got you.
Damn.
Wow, who did that?
I'm about to be like quickest appearance ever.
Oh no, that was a quick slip there. But thank you for joining us, good brother. Nothing on NXT excites me.
Yo.
Please send that to me.
But no, he's definitely a heel. He has a punchable face. So I guess he's doing his job. So, but no.
All right. I'm not going to kick you out again. That was just a one-time thing. We do want to ask you, since you're here, you were there live at All Out, and one of the new.
I don't remember.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. And your drunk reviews of this were great. One of the notes that I have here is that some fans were questioning Bryan Danielson didn't use Europe's Final Countdown. We said earlier they were charging up the yin yang. According to Meltzer, there was an attempt to have Bryan Danielson use the Final Countdown, but apparently getting the rights to use the song would have been cost prohibitive, even for Tony Khan. So he got the remix Flight of the Valkyries by an old friend, by Elliot Taylor. So do you think this version is better than using the Final Countdown and getting charged all that money?
Yeah, they were going to charge them $50K per use. It's fucking insane. I'm not paying $50K for every time it's the song. Like, absolutely. Oh my god. But it was definitely at first, when I first heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a rap song for Bryan Danielson of all people. I did not like it at first. Once you sent the link to the lyrics, I was like, okay. And then hearing you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Now I see. It grew on me pretty quick. I do enjoy it. Just need a longer version of that song, because there's no who the fuck only wants to listen to a song for 1 minute. But yeah, it's definitely catchy. It fits him now hearing the song. So, but of course, Final Countdown would have been epic. But I can understand, even Tony Khan being rich as hell, who wants to pay $50K to have a guy walk out for 1 minute every week. That's insane.
And since you're here with us, and we got Jarrett Bailey of Sports Illustrated here with us, top
up,
guy.
Jarrett?
JJ had a question about football. Romeo had a question about football. Do you have any football questions for Jarrett about your Eagles?
Let's go fucking Giants. It's not really whoa. You picked me out and then you call me an Eagles fan. You were just on it today, buddy. But what's your predictions for the Super Bowl this year, Jarrett? Who do you think to the Super Bowl?
In my predictions that I did, I have Bills Packers. So that is what I went with.
Rodgers coming back with a vengeance. He didn't want to be at Green Bay.
It's that last dance type energy. I really like it, and I like Josh Allen a lot. Buffalo's, they're bringing back everybody plus, a few new pieces. So I do like Buffalo a lot.
Yeah, he definitely did post the last dance, and definitely Buffalo's looking strong coming off the last season. So I definitely see them doing damage this year. But let's go Giants. I got them at 9-8 this year.
That's exactly what I had them at. I do have them as that exact same thing.
See, there we go. We got
Giants have the same record. I'm done.
I mean, listen, it's the NFC East. I don't give any team in NFC East.
The Giants are going to have the same record as the Titans. Are you fucking kidding me?
Giants defense is much better than the Titans, though.
I just love how he's pissing off Top Guy JJ more and more.
Yeah.
The Giants ain't scoring no points, bro.
They got a lot of weapons.
Daniel Jones.
A healthy Saquon coming back.
Daniel Jones is not as horrible as people think. Yeah, he's been fine. He's fumbled a lot. If he figures that out, the Giants will be just fine.
Okay.
It just looks like a dork. I understand.
Well, the rest of the AEW news before
Eli vibes.
before Top Guy JJ blows the top here. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics had AEW Rampage last week do 696,000 viewers, which was the lowest viewership of their 4 episodes of the series, and down from the initial episode that did 722 viewers. AEW officially announces that AEW Full Gear will be moving from November 6th to November 13th, with Tony Khan confirming that the change was due to UFC 268 being scheduled on the same day. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, the word making the rounds on Sunday was that St. Louis will no longer be the site for AEW Full Gear. Instead, the show will reportedly likely be held somewhere in the Midwest, with Minneapolis being discussed as a possible destination. Khan stated that after AEW All Out that he couldn't get into specifics on where Full Gear would be held, but he did note that the Rampage prior to the pay-per-view will still be in St. Louis. However, there's an issue of double booking, as some AEW stars, including Kenny Omega and Malachi Black, were scheduled to appear at the big event convention here in New York City, which is scheduled for the same date. PW Insider had an update, and per the report, AEW is aware of the situation and have now scheduled them for the following day in New York City to make those appearances. Drunk Guy JJ, you're going to be seeing Omega at the big event?
Absolutely. If you, I gotta redeem myself from Chicago for doing things for people who don't deserve it, but we're not gonna get into that.
Jarrett, Drunk Guy JJ's gimmick is that he goes to every live event live, even if he had a baby the same week. So
right, he had a newborn baby. I would have killed if you was my baby. I would have killed you. You was not going nowhere.
I applaud the effort there, Drunk Guy JJ, but I'm gonna channel my inner Ollie Davis with this, because if they do the pay-per-view in Minneapolis, Brock Lesnar to AEW confirmed.
There you go. I'm with you. He's gonna jump. He's gonna have the dual deal because Vince would let him get away with it. And speaking of,
what are you gonna do to him?
Speaking of babies, and I didn't even plan that segue. I'm just good at this. Brian Pillman Jr. noted on Twitter this week that after the interaction with MJF, his sister Melanie started going into labor, and appears that she gave birth to his nephew on Friday, which is the same week as his birthday. He said in a tweet, "In a bizarre turn of events, the encounter between my pregnant sister and Maxwell Jacob Freeman sent my sister into contractions late last night, and she is expected to have a baby today or tomorrow. So happy birthday to Brian. Happy birthday to the newborn baby. So congratulations to his family." During Wednesday's episode of taping of AEW Dark Elevation, Lee Moriarty faced Dan Garcia. After the match, Tony Khan came out and offered Lee Moriarty a contract. So very happy for Lee Moriarty. We've had him on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, one of the most talented independent performers around. So congratulations to him. Speaking of which, Tony Khan also revealed on Twitter this week that he's been in talks with Leo Rush, tweeting out that he says, "I see a lot of tweets talking about Leo Rush today. Coincidentally, I've been talking to Leo Rush a lot recently about returning to AEW. And it feels like something that could happen in the near future." Jarrett, would you like to see Leo Rush back in AEW?
Oh yeah, definitely. Having him be the Joker in the Battle Royale was really cool. And I mean, like you said earlier, he's one of the more underrated in-ring performers. Having him do stuff with like guys like Darby Allin or Dante Martin would be really fun. So I would very much be on board with Leo Rush in AEW again.
And in our final AEW note, Melissa Santos, the wife of Brian Cage, believes that, yes, great picture, that her husband, Brian Cage, is being misused by AEW right now. And she took to Twitter. Yes, it is.
Did she post this picture when she made this comment?
No, she didn't.
You just took it. Okay.
I didn't took it. That's our producers. I'm not in control of these things. Tia Barella, I'm not in control of these things.
Our horny producers, yes.
Yes. She took to Twitter to share her thoughts on the matter. The Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground alumna shared a short clip on Twitter where she said that she believes AEW is not using Cage correctly at the moment. She says, and I quote, "You see, Brian Cage is a superstar. And those people who know him from the Indies, Impact, Lucha Underground, where I met him, know that he's a superstar. All you have to do is Google him and watch all of his matches, such as PWG. He's a superstar, and he's being misused right now. Cage has been locked in a feud with Team Taz since he was kicked from the group in July, and has worked mostly on Dynamite against the group." Santos also posted a screenshot of a Q&A from wrestling writer Doug McNaird and said that Cage is lost in the shuffle right now in AEW. Him and Power Hobbs could have been an excellent tag team. Cage in his own right is a top guy in every sense of the word. AEW just hasn't seemed to realize that yet. Hopefully, once the dust settles with all the new arrivals, Cage will get his opportunity. Cage has taken to Twitter to comment on the matter, clarifying to people that the screenshot was something Santos agreed with and didn't write herself. He also called a fan statement that he and Lance Archer are being misused, and it hopefully improves a deja vu conversation. Top Guy JJ, what's your thoughts on this? I think you're muted, sir. I'm trying to unmute you. Go ahead.
I have a button there too. God damn it!
I'm trying to help you.
My comments is shut up. Like, this is the same dude that had a hell of a rivalry with Adam Hangman Page and actually beat the hottest AEW star in a great singles match on Dynamite, if we not remember. Is this not the same guy that hosted Sting's very first match in AEW? Did that not happen? Was he not crowned just this random ass shit title called the FTW title? Taz? Like, shut up. Like, yo, everybody, there's one top spot, not 20 top spots. There's one. And he has been used perfectly fine he has no mic skills whatsoever. He has zero character. He's bland as fuck. He is just a very big dude that can go in the ring, and they are doing him exact justice. You know what? If you want to see, sometimes, yo, grass ain't greener on the other side, bro. It ain't greener on the other side. So just keep posing and stop making these posts.
I will say this, though. I mean, it could be greener on the other side now. I mean, he looks like a Vince McMahon wet dream. I mean, he could be one of those guys that, especially if they're rebranding and everything, he could be like NXT 2.0 champion, honestly. I don't know his contract status or anything like that, but this could be one
compliment.
I'm just saying, though, that's one of these things where if Vince looked at him, I think his pants would explode. Like, he's one of those guys he looks like a WWE guy just by his build, his look, everything. It could be greener on the other side in this case, but yes, I do hear what you're saying.
I definitely agree with you there. We got a super chat donation from Nick Jackson saying, in the words of James from Deadlock PW, I'm going to let you try that one more time. And yeah, I mean, this was not the best look. Drunk Guy JJ, you were there live. Was there a lot of interest from the fans in Chicago to see Brian Cage on All Out? Maybe that's the source of this, that he wasn't on their biggest pay-per-view yet. Maybe that's why Melissa Santos is upset.
Well, thank God Melissa Santos isn't a booker. Not one person asked for Brian Cage. Not one person in the arena was like, "Oh, yay! Why is Brian Cage not on the show?" Not one person. Not one person. And honestly, I forgot about Brian Cage until we started talking about this. So there you go.
There you have it from someone who was there live, and Annika Wilson saying, now I will say that they need to get this Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage match over with already. I do agree.
He lost.
He did.
Yeah, they need to separate this whole shit. They just need to separate completely.
Move
that
on.
I'll agree with.
It's time to move on, and we got MJF. You call her Melanie, I call her Methany. Oh my! Awesome, man.
He's just so good. I love everything about Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's just so good at being a dick.
Yep.
The best heel on the mic in the business today. Drunk Guy JJ, I know you got to get back to work. Please let the people know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Oh man, I was just gonna stay here. Fuck what? Oh, no, let me not say that. They might be watching. Follow me on Instagram.
I don't want you to get
Hacksaw
fired
_
being on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Hey, it'll be worth it. Hacksaw_J_ Duggan. That's Instagram, Twitter, Drunken Max JJ, Facebook. My name is my name. If you know my name, add me. If not, don't try it. Of course, you already know the game is at YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And I'm gonna keep it a little PG today. We have guests. Follow us, man. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. We do the damn thing. Love you guys, man. Keep doing your thing.
Love you always, and we will see you on hopefully True Rewind. You get back into DeLorean, but we know we will see you.
Yes.
We know we will
back
see
like
you on
Rated
Rated Raw Superstars for sure.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately.
Thanks.
Good luck with
sacrifice,
that.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your services.
All right. So, final couple of news notes here. We got from New Japan. Will Ospreay, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, tested positive for COVID-19. We wish him well, a very speedy recovery. And in related news, Will Ospreay issued a response to the PWI 500. As noted, Kenny Omega was number 1. And Will Ospreay wrote on Twitter, "I'd beat up number 1 any day of the week and twice on Wednesday. Just saying." This later was responded to by Kenny Omega, who tweeted out, "Your promotion has been ice cold since I left that. Not even Meltzer can convince his followers that you were a part of the best in the world conversation. It hurts me, bruh, but one of you dorks should have been the guy. Turned out a bigger dog was my only competition." Love Kenny Omega.
Love Kenny Omega so much.
So good.
Love Kenny Omega so much. Krssi Love, I know you sometimes focus on the looks department. Who wins in that regard of the Krssi Love 500? Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega?
Ooh, Will Ospreay.
You good?
For the people who see. Nothing on NXT excites me. New Japan Pro Wrestling announced the blocks for this year.
Please send me that thumbnail. I need that. I have to. I'm going to make that on my screensaver watch.
They announced the blocks for Krssi Love's favorite tournament, the G1 Climax 31.
Oh my God. You guys will never let me live that down.
Nope. Jarrett, Krssi Love says the G1 Climax sounds like a porno. So that's her favorite tournament in the world.
I can agree with that. No, it's maybe the most prestigious wrestling tournament in the world, though, too, and they couldn't find something that didn't sound sexual that goes with it. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I've agreed with her the entire time. I just gave a shit at the same time.
The priorities is not there. A block has Shingo Takagi, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, Kenta, Great Okan, Tonga Loa, Zack Sabre Jr., Tetsuya Naito, Kota Ibushi, and Yujiro Takahashi. B block has Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuka Okada, Sanada, Tama Tonga, Jeff Cobb, Chase Owens, Yoshihashi, Evil, and Hiroki Goto, and Taishi. So not the best lineup for the G1 Climax ever. A lot of people are going to be in the United States for US shows as well as AEW. So understandable. They also announced that the World Tag League and Best of the Super Juniors will kick off in November on November 13th at Kurigan Hall and run through December 15th. PW Insider reported that New Japan Pro Wrestling star Minoru Suzuki needed several stitches after he was cut in his match against Jon Moxley, and AEW also announced that Minoru Suzuki, along with Lance Archer, will address the disrespect. Huh?
They'll team up?
No, they're going to address the disrespect Suzuki received in Moxley's hometown on Dynamite next week on Dynamite. And they have a special challenge for Moxley, which I'm hoping is Suzuki and Archer versus Moxley and Kingston in New York City, because give me that twice on a Wednesday. I will love it. New Japan Pro Wrestling also announced that, like we said last week, a quick reminder that there are going to be 3 nights of Wrestle Kingdom coming up next year in the Tokyo Dome and Yokohama Arena. Impact Wrestling news. Impact announced that Bound for Glory on October 23rd will have a start time of 10 p.m. Eastern time due to its Las Vegas location and to not interfere with AEW Dynamite on the same night. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it appears both Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman could end up in Impact Wrestling, but it is being said by some sources that Wyatt could also end up signing with AEW, with some speculating that he could debut on the September 29th episode of Dynamite in Brody Lee's hometown of Rochester. And in our final news notes, ROH signed women's wrestlers Roxy, Miranda Alizé, and Max Impaler. MLW announced they have signed Slice Boogie and Danny Limelight. And in a bit of heroic news, Al Snow, WWE legend and ECW legend, recently performed a heroic act by saving a child from an ocean riptide at Santa Rosa Beach in Destin, Florida. Speaking to TMZ, Snow noted that he heard a young boy yelling and screaming while he was in the ocean, and when looking around, he saw the boy being pulled away by the current. Snow then realized the lifeguard would not be able to reach the child in time, so he took action to save him. So we want to say thank you so much to Al Snow. That's an awesome story. Props to him for that, for sure. And then our quick preview for ROH Death Before Dishonor. They're going to have the free in the first hour Honor Rumble with the winner getting a shot at the ROH World Championship. They got Dalton Castle versus Eli Ism. They got Violence Unlimited's Tony Deppen, Homicide, and Chris Dickinson versus LSG, Lee Moriarty, and John Walters. They got Jake Atlas going one-on-one with Tyler Rust in a battle of former WWE talent. They got the OGK, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett versus the Briscoes. ROH six-man tag team title, Shane Taylor Promotions versus La Faction Ingobernables. They also got ROH Pure Champion Jonathan Gresham versus Josh Woods. ROH Women's World Championship Tournament Finals, Roxy will go one-on-one with Miranda Alizé. And then finally, the only match we're going to predict here, the ROH World Championship is on the line. Bandito will verse Demonic Flamita versus Brody King versus EC3 in elimination four-way. Top Guy JJ, who do you think walks out with the ROH World Championship? Bandito, Flamita, Brody King, or EC3?
I see Bandito retaining. I don't see this title changing hands in this kind of a match. I heard no story behind it, so I don't think you lose a title to a non-story driven match.
What about you, Miss Krssi Love? Bandito, Flamita, Brody King, or EC3?
I think the champion Bandito will retain. How long has he been champion now?
He won it back in July.
About 3, 2.
Yeah, he still needs that title run. Let him still rock it out. Yeah.
How about you, Jarrett? Bandito, Flamita, EC3, or Brody King to walk out with the ROH Championship? Oh, is he frozen?
No.
I think he might be frozen. Oh, we hear you. We hear you now. I think
you're like in and out for me. Trying to piece together what you just asked me so I can answer.
You're good now. Bandito, Flamita, EC3, and Brody King for the ROH World Championship.
I heard ROH Championship. That is all I heard. No, I'm really looking forward to Death Before Dishonor. I want to see is Suzuki going to be there with Jonathan Gresham, or is that a different show? I feel like that's GCW.
That's GCW in Los Angeles. Yep.
Okay. Well, regardless, yes, I'm looking forward to Death Before Dishonor. Everything that ROH is doing right now is great. Jonathan Gresham is great. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Absolutely. It should be a very good show, and we'll have a review of that from our boys at Fusion of Honor, Ness and the Stat King. And then finally, we're going to wrap things up with a new countdown, a top 5, where AEW All Out, they had a fantastic show. Many wrestling fans calling it one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. So we're going to talk to our panel here, our illustrious panel here, and find out where it ranks. Is it in your top 5 greatest pay-per-views of all time? Is it not? Let's start off with, you know what? I'm going to start things off to get the brain moving for everybody else on the panel. I'll start things off for the panel here. I'm going to go with number 5, One Night Stand 2005, the ECW reunion show. I thought that was a fantastic show. So many great moments, and really it made me celebrate, being a kid who woke up at 1 a.m. in the morning on MSG to watch ECW a lot of times, to see them on a big stage in the Hammerstein Ballroom. Great event there. Number 4, I'm going to go with Money in the Bank 2011, the CM Punk versus John Cena 5-star matchup. Danny O'Brien winning the Money in the Bank contract. Great stuff there. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to say Wrestle Kingdom 12 with Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. That was like a match that is so important for the future of professional wrestling and what it's come out to. That was fantastic. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to say AEW All Out 2021. Just close. I maybe some years now, I'll look back on it and maybe it'll be higher on my list. But for right now, I say that it's number 2. AEW All Out, so many great things. The best ending that I ever seen to a pay-per-view. Just great stuff. And then number 1, WrestleMania 17. That is still the greatest pay-per-view of all time, despite the ending not being the greatest, with Stone Cold turning heel and joining up with Vince McMahon. Who wants to go next? Any volunteers to go next here?
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and go. So number 5 for me will be one. It's probably going to be a personal favorite. Would be the 2018 pay-per-view All In. That was the very first major pay-per-view that was non-WWE, that literally just had like a crapshoot. It was a complete crapshoot at the Sears Center to hope that it was going to go well. And it was a damn good pay-per-view, besides obviously the main event being cut because they had to be out of the building. But the pay-per-view was absolutely amazing. Kenny Omega and Pentagon absolutely tore it down. Number 4 to me would be, and this is one of my personal favorites again, this is WrestleMania 19. This to me was just flat out amazing, just like top to bottom, one of the best cards you will ever see in a wrestling show. That had a blast with that. Number 3 would be All Out of this year. This year to me would be because there's 2 that I just can never, I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of them. All Out 2021, they're hands down paradigm shift in wrestling. Number 2 is One Night Stand 2005. Very first show I've ever been to. My God, the crowd, the environment, the scenery, ruckus. You can never ask for more when you go to a show, and then if you see it live on TV, it ain't gonna be anything different. It's gonna be crazy. And yes, I mean, number 1, it's gonna be hard to top WrestleMania 17. It's gonna be hard to top that one. It's gonna be very, very difficult. And I was actually a big fan of the ending. I was a huge fan of that big shift because it was completely unexpected. And yeah, that would be my top 5 right there.
There we go. Nice top 5 by Top Guy JJ. Jarrett, I don't know if your internet is working out with you. You look a little frozen there. So we're gonna go to Krssi Love and end off with Jarrett. Hopefully, Krssi Love, what's your top 5 greatest shows of all time?
My top 5, number 5 would be WrestleMania 10, because of 2 matches, the ladder match and the match with Brett and Owen. Number 4, I would put was that NXT Brooklyn with Bayley and Sasha?
Take over
Brooklyn.
That's
number. Yes, that's 4 for me. That match, just I can still get goosebumps and watch it right now. Number 3, I guess we're all in agreement and have to say All Out of this year. Number 2, WrestleMania 17. And number 1, I would say my heart is gonna go with this one because just feeling the nostalgia, and the show was trash, but I was there, so I have to say my first WrestleMania, which was 36. No,
35.
not 37. 35. Sorry, 36 didn't even happen, to be honest. It's in the book. It's in the books of not even.
We didn't say best live events you went to. We said greatest. We didn't say favorites
because I was
either.
there,
We said greatest pay-per-views
all right,
of all
fine.
time.
Take it.
Say your
Okay,
favorite.
fine. That,
There's a difference.
Sydney always is
I'm
always
just
going to
saying.
be something to Sid.
Just saying.
Always. All right,
Part of me
fine.
thought
Just
you
take
was
it
gonna
off.
say
I will put the first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view then, which was
The
what
first?
in your house. Was it that?
In
what's
your
that,
house,
Sean?
bad blood.
That's the one. There you go.
Okay, all right.
Part of me
That's
thought Miss
Thank
Krssi
you.
was gonna go with WWE
Evolution. Yeah, she was there live for that.
I
No.
thought that's what it was at this.
No.
You prefer WrestleMania over? Okay.
You said WrestleMania 35. The one thing I asked you about that show, the one thing you said, it was too long.
It was too long.
Now it's the greatest pay-per-view ever.
You
know what?
Because
Y'all can never let me be me.
Ronda
Just
Rousey main evented it.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But let's
You know
end
what?
things.
Never
Let's.
let me be me. First of all, you just gave me the 2 minutes to find this out. Thank you.
Oh no, I sent it to you an hour before the show. Let's be fair. Let's be fair to
Okay,
me.
well, I didn't look at my emails. You know why I didn't look at my
It
emails,
is in the
friend?
agenda. It kind of is in the agenda.
Hey, Jarrett,
You know
let's
why I didn't
close
look at
things
my
out with
stuff. He
you,
knows.
good brother. Let's close
He knows.
things out with
Let's
you,
not do
good
that.
brother. What is your top 5 greatest pay-per-views of all time?
Open my being seen now. Can I be
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Okay.
You're good to go.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
as
you're
soon
not.
as I said that.
No, you're
As
not.
soon as I said that, it was like the internet gods heard me, and it was like, no, you know what, you're not. But yeah, we could continue giving Krssi a hard time for choosing
They
her
always give
favorite
it to
over.
me. You can always tease me. It's fine. I love you, guys. Both. It doesn't even matter.
Jared, can you hear us now?
Yes.
It's
What
the
is
Saudi,
your-
it's the Saudi. They don't want you to be,
He gonna
the
have to
great
make,
friend.
gonna have to make this quick.
What is your top 5 greatest pay-per-views of all time?
My top 5, I'll run through these very quickly just because it seems like my aunt hates me right now. So number 5, I'm going to go WrestleMania 30 just for the moments alone. Daniel Bryan winning, the Undertaker streak ending, very good. Revolution 2020, the Hangman and Kenny versus the Bucks was incredible. So that will always be that will always be in there for me. One Night Stand 2005, just for the nostalgia and the Paul Heyman promo saying that JBL was only WWE champion for a year because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. Stuff of legend. The Matt freaking Hardy, great. I love Paul Heyman so much. Number 2, I'm going to go All Out from this year. It was just a perfect pay-per-view from top to bottom. And number 1, it just seems like the Mecca is always going to be WrestleMania X7 for everything that happened there. It's the most stacked roster in wrestling history, and I don't think it's going to be very hard to top it.
Hey, he got his number one out.
He got his number one out. He got his number one out. That's
what internet hate came in.
He had a great list too.
Nah, that was a very good list, and he stuck to the greatest pay-per-views of all time and not the favorites. That's
you know what? It's okay.
Yo, you picked WrestleMania 35 over X7. What's wrong with you?
I can't believe that. I'm sorry, Krssi. We love you. But
Yo, remember that main event?
I'm just saying.
I remember the main event.
It
was in my list. You know what?
I'm just saying. Also, you're like, I didn't check my email. I didn't know you had me go. You had Top Guy JJ go.
Well, I didn't want to sound like the same thing. I've said,
but you had time. You had time to think about it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And EBB saying that Hook heard what you said and hacked you.
Oh no! Wow.
Hook heard. The hookers heard.
The hookers come through in the clutch. No, but we got to thank Jarrett Bailey for joining us on this edition of Tru Heel Heat. A great guest with us. He was fun. He got some Tru Heel Heat in the comments section. So we got to show love to him. Thank you for joining us. He was a great guest, and of course, go over and support Jarrett Bailey on the Twitter machine at J Bailey NFL. This man is doing great work for Sports Illustrated, covering the NFL, covering Steelers coverage, doing his NFL predictions. He's got the Bailey and the Bird podcast. He is doing great things. He is a true wrestling fan, and we always support those, and we'll definitely have him back on the show, and we will make sure that his internet gets along with him and that North Korea and the hookers do not hack him. Krssi Love, please let the people know where they can find you on social media, lovely lady.
I'm the sensationalist Krssi Love. You can find me on social media at Krssi Love 1_ or just Krssi Love, Miss Krssi Love, and on Facebook as Crystal Lynch. And you can find me every week with my good brothers here on our Mecca of show of Tru Heel Heat.
And Top Guy JJ, where can they find you, good sir?
Well, just before I give that, so on Jarrett's own Twitter account, 75% of the people said they are hookers, and so 75% of the people said that they're hooks.
Hookers, we in here. We in here, hookers.
He's gonna have a lot to say about that. But on Instagram, you can find me at Tru Heel _Top Guy JJ. And on the YouTube channel, every single week, you can find me here with SP3 and the lovely Miss Krssi Love. And so sometimes on these round tables and these discussions, maybe a couple watch-alongs here and there. I put in a lot of work on Tru Heel Heat this week, yo.
Yeah.
We have been. We are hitting our stride with great special guests. And I got a huge announcement for our upcoming special guest. I don't know if it's next week. I don't know if it's a week after. But ladies and gentlemen, we the people, Dutch Mantel, aka Zeb Coulter, will be a guest on Tru Heel Heat coming up in the next. I haven't locked down the date, but I decided it's a great time to let you know we're going to continue this streak, so you can join us every single Saturday on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Yes, indeed, Dutch Mantel, aka Zeb Coulter, aka Uncle Zebediah, will be joining us on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel for an episode of Tru Heel Heat. So it's the great time to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here. Tomorrow we're gonna have some more content right up here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Monday you got a new episode of True Rewind. You also got Rated Raw Superstars Live, but there's a whole bunch of great content you can watch right after the stream is done. Our AEW All Out 2021 roundtable review, which had our biggest roundtable review yet, with special guest Steven Jensen of Fightful. We had our AEW All Out 2021 watch along with all the good brothers reacting to those big debuts of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. You had Rated Raw Superstars on Monday. You had NX3 on Wednesday. You had the AEW Dynamite watch along on Wednesday. Excuse me. You had NX3 on Tuesdays. I always forget the date. Sorry, NXT guys. You got Wednesday with the AEW Dynamite watch along. You got Blunt Impact on Thursdays, Friday Night Warriors, and like I said, every single Saturday, the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, we go live with our weekly podcast. We're gonna have another wrestling fantasy draft coming up as well with the NWA podcast brothers of Nate Milton and Professor Chris. And like I said, once again, Dutch Mantel, aka Zeb Coulter, is going to be a guest right here on Tru Heel Heat. So no better time to become a part of the movement right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. So drop a like on this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
SP, I'm just saying for the people that's been hating on our fantasy draft, not only we got the GOAT Baker that has been having a crazy run, we also have the #1 in the PWI 500. So I'm just saying.
All I'm gonna say is, like, listen to me next time and let's pick either Roman or Kenny Omega of #1. That's all I'm gonna say, because we could have got Britt Baker later on because they weren't gonna get her. So we could have went with Kenny first. I'm just saying. We could have started off on a better foot.
We would have got either one.
We would have.
We would have gotten one or the other.
Hey, we should have picked Kenny first. That's all I was saying. That's all I'm saying.
Kenny
we could have picked.
Grasp. We knew they was gonna take Roman. That's how you got a good strategy, man. Strategy. You pick John Cena, motherfucker.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
John Cena,
Because
he
we
ain't
want
even around no more.
we want to sell tickets. We want to sell
He ain't
tickets,
even
ladies and
around no
gentlemen.
more. He
We
gone.
want to sell tickets on Tru Heel Heat. So we are
Came back
doing
for a cup of
wrestling.
tea.
We
was
are
the number
doing
3
fantasy wrestling. We are doing fantasy wrestling drafts once a month on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube
Nice,
channel
okay.
on our weekly podcast. So there's going to be much more. We're going to have Jarrett Bailey and his co-host from his podcast on the show next month. So there's a bunch of great content to enjoy. So no better time to come a part of it. So thank you everyone that joined us in the live chat. Remember to drop a thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here for Miss Krssi Love, for Top Guy JJ, for our special guest Jarrett Bailey at J Bailey
Oh my
NFL.
God.
Yes, for all you hookers, this has been Tru Heel Heat 142, WWE Problem, AEW Solution. We are signing off until next time.